First the house burned down, then my dad died. I was there with him, I hate to see my mama cry. I had to break the bad news, keep my head up to the sky. Saw the angel by the bed and didn't ask God why. He was in the coma, yet the tear was in his eye. We was walking through the valley, but I knew that he would fly. I'm never shed a tear until the last goodbye. Now he's looking down on us, proud of us little guys. 44 blocks at the corner, breaking from the start. Sound off the cannon again. I got plenty more.
Hit that like button. Drop the Mary codes. Let's go. We are now live. Viral Hip Hop News. Drop the Mary codes. Share this video. Let's work.
Go tell your family, no, I promise it's the last time. Mama back in his rhymes. If I can only bring to the front from the back of my mind. Young Matthew Robin, they deep down inside it, you find it. Collect the shattered glass, you're gonna have to revive them. I'm in the field versus Goliath, my only giant. But what if I am Goliath and me is my only rival? This is deeper than going diamond. How can we get the giant smashing the stage? Neglect the greatness, raising the triumph. This is freedom versus slavery, the truth versus lying. This is heavy versus heavy. How you taking on flying, man? And epiphany hit me, we need this victory. Trying to keep my composure while composing in this symphony. No more vacancy, blatantly make a name amazingly with the shield of faith from the king.
Drop the Mary codes. We are live. Viral Hip Hop News in the building. About to get started in 1 second. Enjoy the music. Get your blunt, get your alcohol, whatever's your vice. Let's get ready to work. Let's go.
When I turn on the light, the roaches scatter. Take a walk on my shoes, I make them splatter. Getting caught, habit, decoy, now good, get it going in the platter. Right into the face, kept on rapper, clean it up, things is lovely, and now I'm before that. I got a whole world of story, and no matter who be hating, I'll be doing my thing. Man, I ain't taking tricks, and I ain't known this king. I'm not just no one thing, like the chorus sing. Attention deficit, addicted to medication, and breaking and making music my air. My ventilation prepared, no replication, no fear. Stand innovation, persevere, no hesitation, more permit.
You see the crown on the head, right? Ooh.
Hit that like button. Share this video. About to get started in 1 second. Let's go.
Hot like a spider, drip like it's raining. Giving all the vibes out, but nobody can take it. Cause don't know how to quit. So I'ma talk my shit. I do. Used to work in that cab time, but now I'm that it. I'm counting money like a big boss, cause being broke ain't it. Yeah, living up to that lifestyle is the next thing on my list. Yeah, new queen, new crowd, new look and a new sound. She ain't heard my pronouns. If you don't know what you know now. New whip with a talk loud. Hit
What it do, what it do, what it do. It's your man Sam, and we are here live. Viral Hip Hop News in the building on this beautiful Saturday evening. What's good with everybody? Let me know how y'all are feeling this beautiful Saturday evening, man. We are here live. We got two incredible guests coming your way very, very soon. We got Will, the influencer, who will be exposing Viral Hip Hop News live and letting me know everything I need to do to get my ass on track with this social media thing. And then we got my man, my guy, Rothstein Beats, who will be in the building as well, doing the goddamn thing. Mega producer, produced for many artists, doing many great things. I'm gonna let that brother go ahead and tell you what he has going on very soon. But y'all sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, because we are in the building right now and we are live. I need y'all to drop them area codes. You already know what to do. I need y'all to drop those likes. I need y'all to share this video, because we're about to get it popping, and I'm very excited for that. How y'all feeling out there, man? Let me know in the comment section how y'all feeling. You know what I'm saying? We definitely appreciate the support, definitely appreciate the work right now, man. So I'm gonna drop a little bit of news real quick as we get started and as we get going. Before we get the interviews going, I got a guest coming on at 7:30 p.m. My man Will, the influencer. But before I do that, man, I'm going to go over some hip hop news. This is what we do here, man. We talk about some hip hop news. So I heard this a little earlier, and I want to get y'all thoughts, man. And I want to talk about this and share my opinion, man, because we see a lot of these sexual assault allegations coming around, right? We seen, who was it? We just seen Chris Brown get accused right around the time he was about to drop music. And then he went and said, nah, not exactly, my friend. Not exactly, Mo Fritter. This girl was on me from the very beginning and I got proof. And then he dropped the proof and then we talked about it and it was like, yo, okay, this is bullshit. We know this happens. We know that women sometimes get in these positions where they see it come up in some of these high price celebrities and things like that. And they want to go ahead and take it there. You know what I'm saying? And then in other instances, women are telling the absolute truth and these men are out here doing some vile shit. Well, Rory from Rory and Mal, formerly from the Joe Budden podcast, had a lot to fucking say about this situation in regards to Trey Songz. Now, we talked about Trey Songz in the podcast a couple of days ago. Trey Songz was also acquitted of wrongdoing in a situation involving a young lady in, I think it was Las Vegas. I'm not exactly sure offhand right now. I don't have it in front of me, but he was, all the charges were dropped and it looked like he was presumed innocent, right? So all in well, everything cool. We going to go ahead and just chalk this up to another girl line. That's what we thought, right? Well, Rory from Rory and Mal had this to say, and he didn't say, in my opinion, he didn't say alleged. He just went all the way in. I'm going to play this clip and get your thoughts in 1 second. Let's go.
In 15 years, how long it's going to be, that Trey Songz doc is going to be crazier than the R. Kelly one. Trey Songz is the most nasty, abusive, rapey, beats out of women. Like, he's the scum of the earth. Trey Songz fucking disgusting. Like, his doc is going to surpass, if you ever thought you could surpass an R. Kelly doc, I promise you in 15 years, Trey Songz, his doc will. He's an awful human being. Like a terrible, terrible human being.
I'm going to play that one more time for y'all.
And somebody...
For those of you who didn't hear that, this was Rory from the Rory and Mal show, formerly the Joe Budden podcast, saying this about Trey Songz.
15 years, how long it's going to be, that Trey Songz doc is going to be crazier than the R. Kelly one. Trey Songz is the most nasty, abusive, rapey, beats out of women. Like, he's the scum of the earth. Trey Songz.
Whoa. He is the nasty, most vile, most rapey human being on the face of the earth. He is the scum of the earth. The brother Rory went all the way in. He did not say alleged. He did not say I feel. He did not say I think. He said he is. He went out and pointed the finger directly at Trey Songz. And I want to know what you guys think. And as you guys write that in the comment section, please do go ahead and tap in. And while you're at it, share this video, like this video, and let's get it popping because we're going to get comfortable this evening. We're going to have a good time. You know, these circles are very small. You know, a lot of these celebrities and a lot of these people hang out in the same situations, in the same clubs, in the same atmospheres. They mess with the same women. Women mess with the same men. It's one big ass yet very small circle, right? So it's not out the realm of speculation to think that Rory happened to see Trey Songz in a couple of these situations, right? And it isn't out of the realm of imagination or speculation that me may have seen a thing or two. Whether or not he seen to the level of what he's saying, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Because he called him the most vile, most disgusting, most rapey human being on the face of the planet. And he didn't seem like he was guessing. He didn't seem like he was dropping an opinion or this is how I feel. He's pretty much saying this is what he saw. Man, I don't know how to unravel this because in one situation, in one breath, I feel like, okay, if Trey Songz is allegedly doing all of these disgusting acts that Rory said he was doing, then does he deserve to be put out like that? Maybe he does, because that needs to be stopped, right? That you can't be out here violating women. You can't be out here just doing what you want in raping, quote unquote, or doing anything wild, right? So that's how I'm feeling on one shoulder. On the other shoulder, I'm like, damn, did he fuck your girl? Damn, did your girl like him too much? What in the world made you come on behind a microphone, knowing that this joint was going to hit every media platform, knowing this joint was going to hit every single blog, because you said some pretty strong shit? What was the motive behind that? Why didn't, man, I really don't know, man. I'm really curious to see what y'all think and see what you say right here. Well, that may be true. However, it's not what you know is what you can prove. Damn, I was listening to one of my dudes I like to listen to, and he referenced Denzel Washington on Training Day. And he said, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And I that's a great point, because I kind of want to get to that too, because you know how we are in this society. You know how this society deems you guilty until proven innocent. And even after you're proven innocent, the jury of public opinion, not only public opinion, but your character and your entire your character has been essentially assassinated. It's been destroyed. It's been null and void, because a lot of people have thrown these nasty rumors out there and claimed them as true. And now people, no matter what, no matter if the law deems you innocent, they don't care, because all they remember is all the nasty and vile shit that was going on. So for him to say these things, even if it's not true, what kind of damage does it do to Trey Songz, and how far will this really go? He said people don't want reality, they want narrative. We all, I mean, in this society, especially in this social media age, that's forefront. They love the narrative. They love their narrative. They love to validate their own narrative and make sure that they can confirm without a shadow of a doubt that they're right. You know what I mean? You could go ahead and you could feel negative about a situation, that something positive can come out of it, but because your point was negative, you're mad at the positivity that comes out of it. You rather it be fucking negative, even if it's to, or not, excuse me, you rather the narrative be steered your way, even if it's to a detriment to people, or even just being positive and things like that, man. Trey Songz, I don't know him. I've never met him. I've never been around him. I cannot say any of these things, repeat any of these things Rory said, and agree with any of them, because I don't know. But I also have not met Rory, and I've never been around him. And I don't know the level of his character to where he would be lying or not lying. I don't see why he would come on camera, like I said, knowing his stature and knowing that this is going to hit every blog, and come on here and lie. But on the flip side, it's just crazy to me on why you would come out and say these things if he's not in trial, if he's not sitting behind bars for these things. This man is walking around, you know what I mean, chilling and doing his thing. He isn't being tried right this second, even though the rumors are very, very nasty and very, very disgusting. He's still not guilty of anything. So I don't know how that goes. That's a slippery slope in my opinion. I don't know how I feel honestly about Rory even coming out and saying these things. I don't know if I would get behind this microphone and blow a whistle on a dude, even if I knew he was doing something vile. If I felt the need to go ahead and act, then I'm going to act to his face. And if things happen and punches get thrown and lips get split and shit gets lit up, then if y'all go ahead and report about that and you ask me why, then maybe I'll have to tell you, or maybe I'll tell you to go ask Trey Songz, because he ain't living right. And I'll go ahead and go there with it. But to get on these microphones, even if I did know something about somebody, and I haven't been in the game, but I've been in situations where my job had me around a lot of high profile celebrities. And I tell you firsthand, I have seen some shit from people that I deem some of the greatest entertainers of all time. And I've seen some shit that make you go, And I'm talking about from hip hop, some of the greatest hip hop artists of all time. I've seen things that make you go, And I just know that shit is kind of crazy, man. I definitely know that. But what y'all thinking right now? Go ahead and like this video, share this video. We got Willie Influencer coming on in a couple of moments. Can't wait for that to come through. But I wanted to chat and chop it up with you guys real quick and talk a little hip hop news while we wait and while we do our goddamn thing, man. Feeling good right now. Feeling great right now. Beautiful Saturday evening. And I wanted to talk about this too real quick before we have Will on. Did you guys see the man that shot up the subway in New York City. Did you guys check that out? Because when it initially happened, obviously the negativity is in there. 120 for life, you already know. Let me just go ahead and cut myself off and say that 120 for life. But as you see the news and you see the situations where it's a shooting in the subway, and then you begin to see videos and you begin to see things coming out about it, and you're like, what crazy white dude did this? And then you find out it's a brother, and you shit. And then now the scales are being tipped a little bit. But then you find out that this brother was a YouTuber talking about some of your favorite YouTubers on his platform. And when I heard that news, that kind of that struck me a little bit, because that kind of hit close to home. We are obviously in that field to where we distribute content on YouTube, to where we put ourselves out there for the public to see, and we put ourselves out there for the public to judge our opinion, right? And that's cool. But we also know the power behind our tongue. We also know the power behind our platforms. We also know the power behind our message. And we never want to get in a situation where we allow the attention, where we allow the perception, where we allow the noise, the outside noise, to fog our clear and our perspective and our point of view, to get us thinking that we're a lot better than what the fuck we really are, that our shit does not stink like the rest of the people. Like, when we don't click off of these damn buttons and get off of YouTube or stop distributing the content, that we ain't normal people living normal lives dealing with real ass normal issues, right? When you start putting yourself on a pedestal where you think you're better because you might have got a couple 100,000 of views, a couple of millions of views, that's when you make yourself dangerous, and that's when you make yourself a target. And the people he was naming, ooh, boy, have they made them some targets. So it goes to show you, like, why, not why, but pay attention to what the fuck you're doing out here when you decide to get behind these cameras, when you decide to get behind these microphones and express your opinion and express how you feel about things. Because one, you never know who's watching, and two, you never know how they're going to react. And even though the brother wasn't voicing or out here shooting up cats in the subway because of what he's seen on YouTube, he was upset about other things. It's the fact that he decided to get on camera and have a platform, and he's watching and he's absorbing things. And obviously he's in the mindset of, hey, and this is what I'm assuming, if I could shoot up a subway, I ain't got no problem blowing your ass away. Especially if I disagree with you, especially if we had a back and forth over this computer, especially if you talk some noise about me, especially if you embarrass me, it goes on, right? And eventually you might get caught slipping and something terrible may happen to you all over some shit on this computer. Oh man, I don't like it. When my cuz told me that dude was ringing off names, it just automatically went and told me, like, okay, not trying to be cocky, but if you've seen these people, right, there had to have been a time throughout time where you happen to see our content too, whether it had been on my platform, my cousin's platform, our platform. We dropped so much content that the chances of this brother seeing it was very high. What do you think about us? Did he agree with us? Did he disagree with us? Did he like us? Did he dislike us? If we were on that subway and he happened to see us, would he have stopped? Where was this brother's mindset? My goodness, man. What we in the building right now, Viral Hip Hop News live on this beautiful Saturday evening, as I just talk my talk and do my thing real quick before we get Will, the influencer, on the show. Looking forward to this brother coming on out of the UK and talking some shit with us, man. I met the brother on Clubhouse, actually, on a room called Music Networking No Egos. And it's an incredible room. If anybody's listening out there right now, if you're an artist, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in the business, if you're in the entertainment field, and you happen to have Clubhouse, I strongly implore you get on the Music Networking No Egos room. What an incredible networking experience that is. I got on a couple weeks ago. Shout out to my bro. Nah, a couple weeks ago. Well over a month ago now. Goddamn. But I got on through my man Trey, who runs Big Gemini Kennels out in California. We had him on a couple weeks ago. I keep saying weeks. A couple months ago. And since the interview, him and I have kept contact, and we cool. You know what I mean? We drop in different ideas, bouncing ideas off each other, networking, things like that. He was like, yo, I think you need to get on Clubhouse. I'm like, nah, fuck Clubhouse. I don't do Clubhouse. I don't like Clubhouse. I ain't rocking with Clubhouse. Clubhouse kiss my ass. I'm not getting on here and watching a bunch of people gossip and talk and do their thing for no reason. That's not my lane. I'm doing this YouTube thing. I'm trying to branch off of my business and get viral hip hop news into various avenues. That's all I'm about. When he said, okay, let me go ahead and talk about the last thing you said. You're trying to get viral hip hop news in different areas and different various venues, right? Clubhouse is the way to do it. So I'm like, all right, bro, I got you. So he hooked me up. We got set up with yeah, I seen that too. I seen that. I'm not ignoring that. I definitely saw that, and that's crazy. But what was my train of thought at? What was I just talking about? Clubhouse. So I get on Clubhouse, right? And I get hooked up with the Money Train game and Peep Gameplay Lame, who was ran by Mike Jones. Shout out to Mike Jones and his beautiful, beautiful assistant and manager, not assistant manager. I don't even put disrespect on the name, Money Train Love. And they kind of brought me in as family, man. They brought me in immediately. I got to do some judging on a lot of great showcases that they ran. I got a couple interviews coming from the winners of those couple of showcases. I got one tomorrow, Doc Gita. Shout out to Doc Gita, man. We're going to get it popping tomorrow. And it's been super dope to be able to network and be able to politic with these great people right now. And one of those people that we get to politic with, that we get to network with, is the good bro Will, the influencer out of the UK. What's good, man?
What's good? What's good? How are you, man?
I'm good, man, and I appreciate you coming through the building this beautiful evening, man. I was just talking about Clubhouse as I was waiting for you to come on, man, and I was talking about how much of a dope and just blessed situation we happen to be in with the music networking No Egos. I was talking about how I even got on Clubhouse and how I was very reluctant at first. And then once I got on and I began to see what was going on and I got into music networking No Egos room and I seen the power behind it, I was like, whoa, this shit blew me away. And this is how we're here, man. So I'm not going to talk anymore. I've been talking for about 22 minutes. I'm going to let you do your thing, man. Willie Influencer from the UK. Influencer, network creator, podcaster. The list goes on and on, man. Introduce yourself, brother.
All right, guys. So what's up? So most people are watching this. You may know me as the human countdown clock from Rostein's room. I'm the guy. If you don't come to the microphone within 5 seconds, you're going to hear, and open your mic in 1, mic in 1, mic in 1, mic in 2, 2, 2, mic in 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 3, 3, mic in 3, 3, 3, I'm going to 3, 3, 3, and you'll go into the goo. And that's where boss will put you in the goo, and you have to beg to come back for a few weeks. But yeah, that's me. I'm the human countdown clock. I'm a videographer, I'm a photographer. Like I say, network creator, podcaster. I've been in the game for about 9 years now. 2 awards in my field. Just started working with E5 Church Bristol. I work with a bunch of different brands in Bristol as well, which is where I live, a little town about 3 hours outside the capital of London. So yeah, I'm pretty well known around here, especially with the videography game music industry. I haven't done much in music. I've worked with some artists and I've been around artists my whole career, but I'm not too much into music. But I'm the guy who makes music videos. I know how to push your content with music. So I'm in that part of the industry. I'm with the content creators.
How did you get into that? How did you get into the game? And talk about the music scene out in the UK. I don't know how old you are, but talk about how you grew up in the UK and how hip hop kind of influenced you out there.
All right, so I'm actually 34. In May, I'm 35. So my main influence, most people same thing my age. Slim Shady LP came out when I was young. My mum used to do. She used to go to this place called PC World or Curry's, which is close to where I live. And while you're there, she went and asked this dude if what she says, yeah, what are the kids listening to nowadays? And he told her the Slim Shady LP. So yeah, so Slim Shady LP was like the first thing that really influenced what I was watching and what I was into. That was the first really exposure to rap and hip hop. Obviously, Eminem being who he was back then, it was quite a rude awakening into the field. But yeah, I quite enjoyed learning about rap and how you could. I think Eminem, I liked how he pushed the envelope. He would say things that most people would not say, and I found that quite uplifting, especially during a time when I was going through quite a rough time during school at that time. So it spoke to me and helped me understand what bullying was about. That I wasn't the only person who was being bullied in school. It was a good thing for me. I have no audio for you, dude. You're muted.
Man, I'm sorry. My bad. So, you begin hearing about hip hop. You begin falling in love with it. You begin seeing how it moves. When did you begin to get into videography, and was it in hip hop that you began to do your first videos?
So with hip hop, I got a guy called Drax MC and another guy called Cypher, who are rappers in them. So one's about 2 hours from where I live, and the other one is about 20 minutes from where I live. So Cypher and Lewis have been friends of mine now for pretty much as long as I've been doing videos. The video thing happened before I met them though. So originally I started messing around with the iPad, and they had the iMovie function on there. And in the iMovie, there's a trailer function sort of thing where you can mess around with movie trailers.
Right.
So I was messing around with that. You don't really put any audio on it; just show clips of yourself doing whatever. So I started messing around with that. And my friends found them quite funny. And the more I did them, like, hey, you should start doing videos properly. I was like, no, I'm not really into all that kind of stuff, you know. And they're like, no, you should definitely try it. You should definitely try it. So, all right, fine. So I started going. So I was quite political at the time. So I used to start going to like political protests. There was like an NHS protest. There was an anti George Ferguson movement, who was the mayor of Bristol at the time, to get him out. So I used to follow their protests. And that's how I started getting known. I started interviewing local politicians and stuff like that, and going to these local political events. And people started knowing who I was from there. I started having beef with like the BBC and other sort of news outlets because I didn't like the fake news stuff they were putting out, and I was putting out real stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so I'd be that cameraman that was sort of showing what was really going on behind the scenes. And when the mainstream media weren't reporting on it, I was. So originally I was a bit of a journalist. The hip hop thing happened because a music artist reached out to me and said, do you do music videos? And I was like, well, I've never done a music video, but if you want to come down to Bristol where I live, we can mess around, we can do some stuff. We do stuff on the iPad and we'll see what happens. And we made a music video on the iPad. People liked it, and I just kept going with it. And 9 years later, I now use a Lumix G9, which is like an £1,100 camera, loads of audio equipment, and yeah.
How did you learn? How did you learn to use this stuff? You say you started on the iPad with iMovie, and that made me laugh because that's pretty much how I got started. I had a MacBook for about a year, and I would just listen to iTunes on the shit. I would listen to my music and do my thing, and I did not have any idea what kind of machine I had in front of me until I got the motivation, like, oh shit, oh iMovie, what's this? And I started to put little things together and got excited, and my journey kind of blossomed from there. So how did you go from an iPad doing iMovie to holding these big ass, crazy ass cameras and doing your thing on another level?
Yeah, so I use DSLR cameras. They're not as big as they sound. They're just about yay big, but they are quite big. There's £1,100 cameras a piece. But I taught myself, man. I never went to college or university or none of these sort of things there. I did it all myself. I used to just keep making videos until I learned further. So I was on iMovie for the longest time. Must have been about 2 or 3 years. I didn't really have any proper software. I had a cheap camera. It was about £200. I started going to like the local radio stuff. There's a place here called Ujima Radio, or Ujima, or everyone pronounces. I used to go there and interview some people and film interviews of people through my friend Callum. So his name was Presto back then. I'm not sure what he's doing with himself these days. But yeah, that's how I got started. I met a guy called The Future Man and offered to do some videos for him. I had my cheap camera back then. I just got my laptop. So everyone was done by iPad by that point. But now, like I said, you got a MacBook. I got a MacBook as well. I have the MacBook Air. And I've had now for, I think, since 2000. Well, within the 9 years that I've been doing videos, it's all been on here pretty much. My friend got me a version of Final Cut Pro X. I installed that onto my laptop, and I've just never looked back. And I've been using the same copy of Final Cut Pro now for years, but it's never failed me. And this MacBook, like I say, it's a machine. You can launch an entire business from this machine, and I have done. I run a pretty successful media business, and so I've won 2 awards from this very laptop. And I've never gone to a real fancy editing studio. I've never been to a college or university to teach me how to do this stuff. I've just taught myself along the way and just kept making improvements. And I watch videos on YouTube about how to be a better editor and how to use camera tricks and all this sort of stuff. So YouTube University taught me, really, I suppose.
Facts. That's how I learned, YouTube University. And I know you said you transitioned to iMovie to Final Cut. I don't know how easy it was for you, but it was a motherfucker for me trying to figure out.
The thing about Final Cut Pro is pretty much the same model as iMovie.
Right.
A little bit more complicated in places. But yeah, it took me about, well, I'm still learning the things that it can do now, but I suppose to really get it down to my style, in about 3-4 months, I already had it sort of down to how I like to edit. Right. And this is like second nature. I don't really think about that edit much these days. I tend to film how I'm editing in my mind. So when I get back home, it's like, I'm done.
Right. Yeah, I feel you on that. I wanted to talk about the race relations in the UK. Now, we know how it is in America. Obviously, being here, we deal with it a lot all the time, and obviously it's projected to us in the media, whether it be real, fake, whatever the case may be. The point is very clear, is that they want us to know about it, and they want us to prey on it, and they want us to be very aggressive towards it. And there's a lot to be aggressive about out here, but I'm curious to know how it is in the UK.
I mean, So where I come from, Bristol, we were the first city to start pulling down the slave trader statues. So when it comes to race relations in this city, I'd say we have it fairly good. I mean, Bristol's pretty much I wouldn't say a white dominated city, but we definitely have a white population. But there is also a huge like Afro Caribbean presence here. We have a lot of Indian. We have a lot of like Pakistani, Afghanistanis here. I'd say it's good. I mean, you do have your elements of racist in this city, as you do of any city, I suppose. But I'd say here generally the relations are pretty good. And in the UK, I'd say is generally pretty good. But I'm always finding like stories about racism and people being attacked over certain things. So there is still that element, like you find anywhere. But I would say it's more extreme in America. You guys have it way more extreme than we have it here. You don't see as many. I mean, maybe that's a media thing. Maybe they're hiding it, but you don't hear and see as much about racial attacks or racial violence or that sort of stuff. Where in America, you hear about it a lot, especially like the George Floyd situation and stuff like that. Over here, it's not so. There is stuff like it, but here over there, black people being killed by other white people or whatever. But over here, you get quite a lot of black on black crime. It's more black versus black issues here. I mean, I don't want to speak on that too much because being a white person, my friend Kai could probably go into it a lot more. But like over here, like young kids are getting stabbed in the street by other young black kids. You know what I mean? It's silly.
Yeah, it is a shame, and it kind of sounds like what's going on out here as well. I hate to use the term black on black crime because people kill people all the time, white people, Asian people, in the case may be. But in our situation, it's obviously a situation that needs to be handled because when you look in these inner cities, Philadelphia comes to mind because I'm close to it. Chicago, Los Angeles, New York. Now you talk about down south with all these open carry laws getting passed and things start to get crazy out there. There isn't really too much interracial crime or multiracial crime. It's within our community and it's destroying our youth, and it's something that needs to be talked about and needs to be handled. And I just wish that we could, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I wish that it could be handled in a situation where the media wasn't able to grab onto it and go, see, they kill each other all the time. See, they do this. Because I don't like that narrative either, because there's a lot of great black males and females out here doing absolutely phenomenal things. We don't get to see that as much as we get to see the unfortunate killings that go on that need to be eradicated in our community. But what I will say is,
started to tell the truth and get past what mainstream media are talking about, because mainstream media put a lot under the carpet. Well, I'll just tell you exactly what is going on. And eventually I'll get back into the journalism part of my journey. But right now I'm working with the networking thing and doing my thing with no egos and doing the camera guy thing. But eventually I do want to bring back an element of journalism into my company. I'm either bringing in some people or get back into it myself. But like I say, there's a lot of things that are swept under the rug, or like I say, if the media wants to anything like, look at these dumb young black kids killing each other. But it's really not the case. There's deeper issues with this, you know.
Right. Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. Now, how is America perceived from the UK? UK is not that far, obviously, from America. I don't know what the plane ride is from UK to New York, but I'm sure it's not that far, 5-6 hours maybe.
Yeah, something like 7 or 8 hours, I think, something like that.
Right, it's not too far. What how are we perceived out there as a nation, as a country?
Depends who you talk to. So I mean, if you're real like myself and you understand the mainstream media talk a lot of shit, then you look past it. I mean, to me, America's always been somewhere that it's like the land of dreams. I've never been there myself, and I went to Florida once, but that was years and years ago as a kid, and I don't really remember it that well. But like, to me, it's like the land of opportunity. It's always like, go over there, you can get into music. They got all these crazy massive cities. They got all these crazy sightseeing and stuff. So it's like a really cool tourism sort of place to go, and it's really glorified in our movies here. It's really glorified as an amazing place, but also in the media, it's made out to be a really racist like country and have a lot of violent problems within racism. And not just that as well. It's like a drug-filled country with crack cocaine and stuff like that. So there's different perceptions in different areas. But it depends what you watch. If you're into what I'm into, with watching the hip hop and stuff, you know the reality of what's going on in America. If you follow what the mainstream media is talking about over here, it's quite a violent country and you want to avoid it. It's quite racist. And Donald Trump is everywhere.
Right. Now, we were talking behind the scenes before we got set up for this interview, and I got to know you a little bit. It was real dope. And you were telling me that you're telling me a little bit of your story, and it was an incredible story to kind of get introduced to you as the head of influence, head of like the social media when it comes to music networking, No Egos, and I see how successful music networking, no egos is, and I see the array of talent and the power that comes in and out of those rooms. And for you to be just at the lead as far as getting that information out here to social media, that's a huge responsibility.
Yes, sir.
So from you to go where you were to there, kind of give us a brief timeline on the story that you basically told me behind the scenes and how you got to here.
All right, so we'll talk a little bit about how I came on. So I ended up on Clubhouse by accident. My friend Kai and me run a brand called Recaps Blogs and Reviews on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, we're nearly at 15,000 followers, which is pretty cool. We got nearly 300 followers on Instagram, so I'm starting to build that up now. We got a YouTube channel as well. We haven't done too much for that, but we're working on that. But anyway, my friend Kai was on Clubhouse for ages, and he's quite big into like the UK rap scene. He follows what all the rappers are doing, who they're talking to. Like he follows all these cool apps. So he's way ahead of me when it comes to this app game and what's going on.
Right.
And he told me about Clubhouse, and he's like, listen, this is the sort of arena that you want to go into, because there's loads of content creators on there, there's rappers on there, there's musicians, there's business people on there. Go and check it out. So he uses it for different reasons. He goes on there to listen to rappers beef with each other and get into the drama. He loves all that. I came on. I came on looking for business. I was like, right, let's see what's going on this app. Went in this room called videographers with 3 exclamation points. All American guys, man, all Hollywood directors and videographers and people with ridiculous cameras and ridiculous portfolios and crazy names in their portfolios. I loved that room. I was in there every single day. I've been there 24 hours. So it was a 24-hour like room.
Shit, okay.
I'd sit in there for days with those guys. I'd fall asleep, I'd wake back up and the thing's still going. We're still talking, we're still asking questions and stuff. Like I met some incredible people, like massive content creators and like I say Hollywood directors, Hollywood editors, like crazy videographers with like these mad sets with these insane names like Britney Spears and like MC Hammer and all these kind of ridiculous people on their portfolios. And all these big bits like American Express and all this. I'm like, these are the people that I want to be there. They're already at where I'm trying to get to in my career. And so I started my own room called the Content Creators Assembly. That had me, a bunch of guys from the UK. We had some guys from Greece. We had French people, Americans. We had people from pretty much all over the world trying to run this 24-hour content creators room. And it should be fun. So I'd run it during the day. Then when I'm asleep at night, a bunch of these Americans would run it for me. And there's a guy called Gavin Millett. I need to shout out Gavin Millett, actually. Gavin Millett is one of the reasons I still hold a camera now. During that content creator assembly time, I started losing my focus a little bit, and I wasn't really focusing properly on the videography side of things. I was starting to become a bit more of a teacher and trying to facilitate that room. But Gavin's work is just incredible. Like he's worked with Britney Spears, MC Hammer, American Express. Like his portfolio is ridiculous with the names that he's got on there, and he just inspired me to get back behind the camera and get back to work. And a lot of my work is inspired by Gavin. The content creators room eventually stopped working. We couldn't all be there all the time. Like, people's time constraints were difficult. You got to think, when we came onto Clubhouse, it was during that lockdown era when no one could really go outside. So everyone was inside looking for something to do. So we were all obsessed with this app and we were loving all these connections we're making. But then everything started opening back up. And everyone in my team was a full-time videographer or content creator and making their money that way. So they didn't have time to sit on Clubhouse anymore. Where I do have the time, but because most of my work is within my city, it's like 2 minutes down the road from me. So I don't really have to go very far. I come out, film, come back home, sit down, do my editing. And so like I was starting to try to find something else to do, and the content creators room stopped. So I was like, oh, what do I do now? Ended up in these little networking rooms. And these little networking rooms on Clubhouse, kind of like spam rooms. You go in there, like, oh, everyone jump on his IG, leave 3 comments, leave 20 likes, blah, 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 blah. It can get your account shut down too. So I had to start like staying away from those rooms.
Right.
And then one day I happened to walk into Rostein's room. I can't remember who it was I was following, but I walked into Rostein's room and he knew who Street Heat were. Now in one of these little networking rooms, Street Heat, you know about Street Heat, don't you? We'll see. Yep. Okay, so I ended up in a room with Will C and his wife Nikki, and I got talking to them. And as time goes on, I was always in those rooms. Just always hanging out in Street Heat. I only went to Street Heat rooms. And Will C ended up liking me quite a lot. Me and Will C are very similar. He's very much like me. He's got more energy than me, admittedly, for a man his age. But he's me and him, like videography wise and like connections. That's me and him, but the same person. Like it's crazy. And one day I was in the room and he turned around and says to me, listen, I want you to run like a UK division of Street Heat. Like we're not in the UK right now. I'm going to give you the keys. It's like, go make Street Heat big. When it's done, give me a percentage and bring me over and we'll see what's going on. I was like, all right, cool. So the Street Heat team brought me in. I started walking around with the Street Heat logo and stuff. Walked into Rothstein's room. Rothstein knows who Street Heat are. He had immediate respect for me. I think we were just messing around one, and he was like, "You talk really, really fast, you know." I was like, "Yeah, is it?" And then he said, "Can you just like a countdown?" So I did like this quick little countdown thing in the room. They all loved the countdown. They thought it was hilarious. I was made a moderator, I think, the second day of being in there, and I've just been part of Music Network and No Egos ever since. And a really, really cool story about Music Network and No Egos about how it helps people. I stopped going to the room for a few months because I started battling with depression, and that was really tough for me. That I wasn't talking to anybody, I wasn't connecting to anybody. Wasn't even like communicating with my friends or anything.
Right.
And I started posting these like really depressing reels, and like one of the reels was like, if I ever lose my battle to depression, just know that I battled for it and I was fighting hard, but I had to give up or something like that. And that concerned the team. And Roshtein reached out to me on Instagram and said to me, like, "Dude, where have you been? Like, come back to the room. Where are you?" Like, I came back to the room the following day, and like everything just seemed better. Like Rothstein and Aunt Jackie and Bots made sure I felt good. Like Auntie Jackie messaged me all the time to make sure I'm cool. Like they just made sure that I was all right. And like I was still hopping in and out. I was still kind of quiet, but I started going to the gym a lot. Like I just coming back onto that was like a really big deal to be talking to people again and sharing what was going on. I didn't even tell anybody what was really going on with me for another couple of months being back on that. But now things are sort of settled again. I feel good. And like thanks to Rothstein and Jackie and Bots and everybody that's in the room, like it just makes me feel better. It gives me people to talk to. I can mess around a little bit. You know, I've got these weird little catchphrases that I do. I've got my countdown clock. I do the "what the fuck is up" and all that kind of stuff. It just helps me to smile during the day. And I owe Music Network and Egos my life, if anything, because without them, I probably would have kept getting worse and worse and more depressed. But thanks to them, I'm not better. There's no way I can say I'm cured from depression because there is no real cure ever. You've always got to battle with it. But my day has routine. If I'm not working my night shifts, Monday to Friday, I'm in there from in my time 1 p.m. till 5 p.m. And then on Monday from about 11 p.m. night time, I'm doing my content creators room. It just gives me schedules. It gives me something to do, give me something to focus on. And the amount of people that I help with the social media side, like people are always reaching out asking for advice and stuff. And I've helped a lot of people from that room do bigger and better things because of their social media. And it just gives me pride in the fact that people there trust my opinions. Like I say, people like to bring onto podcasts to discuss stuff like this. People actually trust what I do, and it helps massively because I went through a stage where I didn't think my media meant anything to anybody, and my expertise meant anything to anybody. Because where I'm from, people here, I shouldn't really be saying this, but like people just don't support each other in this city. It's very much like unless you know somebody, you're not going to be supported by a certain amount of people. I mean, that's fine. I found my own little like support bubble now, and I'm more international because of that sort of thing. But in my city, it's hard to get anybody to be like, yeah, you're doing great. Yeah, you're wicked, because they want you to say that about them first, so they can be like, yeah, you're doing okay, but not as good as me, sort of thing. And like, I don't like.
You brought up names that, I mean, household names to us, but people may not know Bots, Aunt Jackie, Rothstein. And when you start looking into these individuals' accomplishments and what they're doing out here in the game, you don't think that somebody with their ranking have time to check on somebody that they met on Clubhouse to make sure they're good. And that's another level. That's another level. So talk about that, man, and how much. Because like I said, you now that you got the content creators room that I love to check out. I come out of the show, I come out of my office, I throw it right on, and I'm mostly listening because as I'm driving, I just try to kind of take mental notes and enjoy. If I can throw in some tidbit, if I can, I do. But I mostly like to listen. But the power in the room and just the support in there is absolutely unbelievable, and it really should be commended. And this will kind of motivated me to do what I'm doing because I had the artist spotlight and I'm highlighting different artists. But then we talk about in the room about paying it forward and just making sure that the gift is in the giving. You know what I'm saying? And these little things filter in me because you look around and you see all these people doing the crazy, amazing things. Bob Sumner and so many names. He came in the studio. That's why I just thought about him. But it's like there are good people in the world that are still successful. And it does give you a sense of, okay, I can do this. If I just put myself out there, if I just put in the work, if I just do what I'm supposed to do at a hard-working rate, then fucking results can come out of it, man. And this is where you set yourself up at. We're sitting here doing this interview now. You live in the UK. It's, what is it, 12 something at night, 1 o'clock in the morning.
5 to 1, yeah, bro.
1 in the morning. And now you're about to expose viral hip hop news. And I'm very excited about it because one other thing we talked about was you putting your influencing expertise to the motherfucking max and showing me what I'm doing wrong on my stuff.
All right. So right now I'm going over to your Instagram. Let's have a look what we got. All right, so you got a hell of a following, which is crazy. You got nearly 9,000 followers, which is it's hard to do. It's a fair play to you. The fact that you got the people you follow below 1,000, you're a very smart man. That's what I'm trying to do. Get mine back below. If you go over it, it starts messing around with the algorithm. So if you keep the amount of people you're following below 1,000, you'll always be good. Remember that.
Okay.
You got some pretty good big name following you too. So that's going to help. Your branding is great. I love the logo. I think it speaks levels. What's this multi-posting? Oh, that's you talking. That's fine.
Yeah, I've been running my mouth a little more on there. I'm trying to.
No, that's fine. That's what I need from you. You did personalized content. This is what I go on about all the time. Using your personality in your content. So I was saying to Roshtein when I first started that content creator, the people love bots, right? Bots is funny. Bots comes up with his mad botsisms. He's got great advice when it comes to music. Like he's raw and he's honest. He doesn't bullshit you. He just tells you how it is. And that's what I love about bots. So the reason everyone likes the Cookout Volume 1, not just because it's a masterpiece and probably one of the best pieces of music compilations ever known to man. Like people love it because of who Bots is. People want to go to the Cookout because of who Bots is and because who Bots portrays himself as. And if you watch Bots' content, Bots' reels are hilarious. Like they make me laugh every time I pop onto his stories or something. He's just doing something funny. And that's what makes his social media pop. It's not because maybe all right, he's got his Grammy nominations, he's got all his music and that kind of stuff. But Bots is funny. Bots is a hilarious person, and his content just screams like, "Come check out what I'm doing. Come check me out." And I love Bots, and that's what makes the Cookout and what will make the Cookout so successful in future and make that event so successful. It's just his personality. You can't help but like the guy. You know what I mean? Some people might find him a little bit standoffish or whatever, but I think Bots is hilarious. Like throwing people to the goo just because they spoke out of place or whatever. Like, oh, Bots is just a hilarious character. I love it. Like, and that's what sells. So putting your personality in your content, you say running your mouth, that's what you got to do. Tell people your opinions. Tell people what you're about. Because if I'm going to check out your podcast or if I'm going to check out your music or anything like that, you need to give me a reason why. Like, I wouldn't have checked out the Cookout just because Bots and that are involved in that. I'd be like, yeah, I'll get around to checking it out. Because Bots is so funny, and because obviously he's involved so many people in the Cookout, it's such a great idea to use a community. I had to check out the Cookout. It was not a case of like, no, I'll check it when I got time. I was like, no, I need to hear this out because Bots is involved in it. Like, I need to check this out. And all because his content makes me laugh. That's why I like Bots. I think his personality is hilarious. I say that his reels are so funny. Like when he does the "I hate doing shit for free" and those kind of things, like, it just makes you laugh and it makes you feel good and it makes you like, I want to check out the rest of his music. I want to check out his content. I want to see what he does because he's a funny guy. You know what I mean? So like, it's all about using your personality to push your content. So that's one of my biggest pieces of advice.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I was lacking, honestly, because even though I got the YouTube platform and even though my face is on camera a lot, my social media suffered because I would never, I had struggled with it. I don't want to open myself up too much. I'm a private person at heart. I don't really like to have people open that door to people to kind of get into some of the private things that go on in my life. But in the field that I'm in, if I want to be successful, I kind of open that door a little bit and get them to know.
So people want to hear what the host is going through sometimes. I mean, doing the entertainment thing is fine, but why should I listen to your opinion on anything? Why should I listen to your reviews on anything? Because like, who are you, dude? Like, what are you about? What brought you here? I need to hear the story. And that's why I tell people, I mean, for me, talking about depression took me a long time. When I first started coming back to know, I wouldn't even tell people what was going on. I was like, yeah, I'm just a bit down. And only really have been comfortable since H. Lee brought on his podcast a little while back. Big shout outs to H. Lee, by the way. And I spoke about my depression for the first time. I've never really spoken about it properly, like live like that. And now it's part of my background. So now I tell people about my depression. I tell people about my background with mental health and trying to fight through things because it's a really important topic nowadays too. Like people are struggling out here, especially since the pandemic and everyone being shut away and not being able to socialize and stuff. It really messed people up. And like, I used to be one of these people like mental health, it's a buzzword. Pull yourself together, you're totally fine or whatever. You sort yourself out. Not like that at all, man. Like this mental health thing is dangerous and it can really mess people up. So they say using your, if you want to talk about that on your podcast sometime and then you feel down for a day, tell your audience, man. And like, you'd be surprised that sort of content can go viral. Like a man telling people how he's feeling inside is good content. I mean, it's don't just put it out there because it's content, but it really does push up because men need to speak more about mental health because a lot of men are still scared to be less of a man, or that sort of saying that you're not less of a man just because you got feelings, bro. You know what I mean? Just tell it how it is. If you're down, tell people. And like I say, with a podcast like yourself, it's the perfect platform where you can switch off the video and just go audio and tell people what's going on with you. If you don't feel like having your face on there, talk to your people. You've got an audience for a reason. They want to know you, dude. And if you want them to pay eventually, like Bots has got the Patreon podcast, you want them to pay for your content, that's the sort of stuff they need to hear. They want to hear that realness. They don't want to hear, oh yeah, I'm always great, I'm always fine, I'm always happy. Because no, we're not. No one's always happy. No one's always fine. Everyone has daily battles and things they went through in the past that mess them up and they think about sometimes. And and I got into a bit of a waffle. My bad.
No, you did. You didn't, because, and I want people to know that, because you're sharing your story, but at the same time, you're letting people know. Listen, if you want to be successful, it's not many things. There are not many rules, and there's not a whole bunch of things. You gotta give them you. You gotta give them you. And sometimes you aren't happy. Sometimes you aren't in the mood to do this. But that's going to relate to somebody else that's going through the same shit. And then that's going to resonate and get you a whole audience that relates to that one thing that you may have said.
Exactly. So let's, you know about Casey Neistat, right? That massive YouTuber.
Yes, sir.
So Casey Neistat is my inspiration. He's the reason I was like, do you know what? I'm going to chase this videographer dream. I'm going to go and see if I can work with companies and start a YouTube channel, all this kind of stuff. The reason Casey Neistat was so successful so fast, because he put his life on camera, not just because he was working. Imagine this, he started his YouTube channel to promote Beam, that weird little news thing that he was going to do, the new news app he was going to run. And he didn't even release Beam for another 2 years. The reason he was successful because he put his life on camera, his work, his wife, his daughter, his food, his son, and his daily struggles, like driving to work, what he has to go for. And he spoke about things that pissed him off. He spoke about politics. He spoke about the Hillary and Trump situation. Like, he spoke on everything. And that's what made him so popular, because he wasn't scared to just put himself out there. He talked about his brother. He talked about his father. He talks about family. Like, he talks about real stuff, and he doesn't hide who he is. He is who he is, and he tells you. And that's why he's now one of the most successful YouTubers of all time. How many stupid amount of million subscribers this guy got? You know, I mean, the amount of hits per video, and like these like Air Emirates giving him free 21,000 first class seats just to do a review, because people love who he is. It's not even just about his content. They love the guy himself. They love his passion. They love the fact he talks about his family. The fact they're so important to him. They put in all his vlogs. He films his holidays with his family as well. Like, he shows not just the work, he shows family. He shows what's important to him, and that's why Casey Neistat was so huge. And yeah, so he beat the algorithm. He wouldn't need to use hashtags or any of that stuff, just because his personality shone so much. People were just sharing it. Like, check out this amazing story. Check out this amazing video. So yeah, sometimes the personality thing is just way more important than any of the algorithm stuff, to showing who you are. And the reason people's reels and TikToks take off, when they film real life, they get way more views than someone who's just trying to make a funny video. That's something I've noticed. So just be real. Don't. I mean, obviously, if you want to do the funny reels thing and put on a bit of a character, that's fine. But again, like Bots does the whole reels thing, and it has a bit of a character to it. But that's him. He's not playing anybody. He's just being Bots. He's a funny dude, and he makes these crazy videos and stuff. And like, people are, oh, it might be an act. Like, no, that's Bots, and that's what makes him so popular. And that's why the Cookout is always going to do well, because Bots is just that dude.
Yeah, if you show your personality, and then it'll definitely extend to your music, to this, or your merch, or whatever the case may be. They love you. They're going to buy into everything you do. So let's talk to the people that may be listening that have social media, that are aspiring to gain more traffic on social media. And for whatever reason, if they have a business, if they have music, or whatever the case may be, let's say they have 1,200 subscribers on all their platforms. What will the influencer, what kind of advice would you give somebody with 1,200 followers?
All right. So I've got 1,400 on one of mine. Another one's got 1,000. My Facebook page, Recaps, Blogs, and Reviews, has nearly 15,000. So I wouldn't say exactly I'm an expert on numbers, but the way to do this, hashtagging is so important. So I'm going through yours right now, and some of your posts you have no hashtags at all. Some of them you have 1 or 2, and that's why you're struggling. I mean, you're only getting like 17 to 20 likes per post with these, from what I've noticed. So you need to up your game with the hashtag. So my recommendation to you at first, 15 hashtags in your description, and then 15 in your comments. When your friends leave comments, do what's called a call to action. So when you're in your video or in the post, say drop a comment but leave a hashtag, and like see people hashtag explore page trending, so because that all helps you get into those algorithms.
Okay.
So yeah, your hashtag in the game definitely needs to go up if you want to grow. I mean, to be fair, you've got quite a lot of followers anyway, which is pretty impressive for someone that doesn't really hashtag. So it shows that your content's working. But yeah, if you want to get, say, you want to get up to that 25k, bro, let's get you on some of these hashtags. And my advice with hashtags. So when you're typing in your hashtag on Instagram, right, you'll notice that if you've hashtag influencer. Hang on, let me type this real quick. Let me jump onto my post. So something like 5.2 million hits. I'm not going to get seen in that algorithm unless I've got like 30-odd thousand followers or something like that. So what I would put is influence is life, or life of an influencer, or power of influence, or something like that. Those have got a lot less hits. They got something like under 500,000 hits. Anything that's under 500,000 hits, you're going to fall into the algorithm. People are going to have more of a chance to see you. So the lower the hits, the better, because that shows that it's trending, but it's not been oversaturated yet. Anything over 1 million, unless you got a sort of a box kind of following where everyone does follow you anyway and interacts with everything, it's not going to help you. But because he gets a lot of comments and a lot of likes and a lot of shares and stuff, he can put onto those big hashtags. But again, with those big hashtags, even if you are a smaller person like myself, with only 1,400 followers, you can still do well with those. So what I would do is say 10 of the 15 all under the million, or under the 500,000 threshold, I would say. And then maybe 5 with the big hits. So I still use influencer, and I still use things like Bristol or London or whatever. They got like millions and millions of hits or whatever like that. So I still use like, I mean, maybe 5, but I try to switch them up. Also, if you're going to use the same hashtags, please change the order of your hashtags, because you keep using the exact same 30 in the exact same order, Instagram will think you're a bot account and they will shadow ban you. And there's only one way to get out of shadow ban it, and that is hashtag your way out. And it takes a long ass time, but it works.
I was going to ask you. That's a good way to segue. You hashtagging, and what to hashtag and what not to hashtag, and what exactly for the people who don't know and why it's important to do hashtags. What does a hashtag do to open up volume and traffic onto your page?
All right. So if you go onto any hashtag, so if let me go and look on your thing a minute. Yeah, let's go back to viral hip hop news. Where are we?
And if you're not subscribed to Viral Hip Hop News, hit that like button, that subscribe button, share this video. Go follow Will the Influencer on all his social media accounts. We'll definitely have it out of here. All
right, so let's click on the Will Smith hashtag, for example. That's got 2.3 million posts already. That's a mad thing. So I don't know if you guys notice, you can follow hashtags. So if you don't want to follow a certain amount of people, you can follow hashtags, and it brings them to people that you're interested in. A hashtag is a little bit like a search engine, or for me, or I like to call it the portfolio button. So I have a Will the Influencer hashtag. When I click on that, all my reels are there, all my work is there. Like it's like a portfolio piece. Instagram is a search engine. Same as Facebook, same as YouTube, same as Google. If you type in the right stuff, you will find shit. Like people think Facebook is hard to navigate as a search engine. No, it's not. If you type in what you're looking for, it will come up and it will take you to what you're looking for. So with Instagram, the hashtags do that for you. So if most people, I mean, if you've learned to follow the hashtags, then you'll find people like myself, like with hashtag influencer, hashtag Bristol, because you're searching through and you'll find whoever's from that area. So if I'm looking for an influencer in Bristol to work with, I'll type in hashtag Bristol influencer, or if it's in my description, I'll just click on it and I'll scroll through and have pictures of all these influencers from Bristol. It's literally like it's just another search engine thing. So like a hashtag helps you jump into different algorithms. People who save the hashtags will see your posts. So where I'm now following Will Smith, if I go onto my timeline normally and start scrolling, it'd be like, yeah, so it'll give me the hashtag Will Smith and it'll show the thing where he's slapping Chris Rock. So, but yeah, it's just another way for you to get into people's feeds. So if people are following certain hashtags, no good feed. So people in your following, if you go into their posts and see what they're hashtagging, nick their hashtags or click on their hashtags and see what they're following, and then use those hashtags yourself or use whatever, and make it your own. I always switch up my hashtags. I'm forever changing my style. That's also because I work with so many different people. I work with religious brands, I work with rappers, I work with like painters, and I work with dancers and blah, 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 blah. So I always got to change my hashtags anyway. So that's the reason why my stuff does all right. But just keep switching stuff with hashtagging. It's all a personal thing too, because I know people who use the same hashtags and just keep switching the order, and that's perfectly fine for them. But with me, I like to use different hashtags all the time. Apart from I use my street heat and I use Will the Influencer, because that's like a portfolio button immediately. If you want to see my work, I'm like, yeah, tap that, boop, and that's all my work is there.
Now that makes sense. Now you talked about doing different hashtags, or you suggested it, or at least switching them up per video, right?
Yeah.
Me in the situation where I'm doing a lot of, like, the last couple of videos, I did a lot of talking on different various topics and things like that. How should those hashtags work? So would it be, in your opinion, good to change those or switch those up? And how do I know what to switch?
Every time you talk, I would focus your hashtags on the topic at hand. So, for example, say if you're doing a rant about the Will Smith thing, like say every hashtag should be Will Smith and Chris Rock related. Even if you're not talking about Chris Rock in that video, still hashtag it because it's a very popular hashtag, and people are like, "Oh, what's going on?" They'll click it just to hear you say what's going on. Obviously, you're involved in it or anything, or just to hear something about Will Smith. I'd also put things like real talk or man talking or real man talking or this is the real, just stuff that people will bring in. Like, oh, this is real talk, because real talk does work, like with podcasting. And again, like there's things out there you wouldn't realize that could be good hashtags. Like literally just saying that I am a podcaster, I love podcasting, like stuff like that. It hits, and people have those big hashtags. So like, just don't be afraid to mess around and see what other people are doing. But I do recommend go into successful independent podcaster pages, check out the hashtags, and use them yourself. As simple as that. And also, another tip, Instagram. Do not do what a lot of people do, which is post and run. If you want people to interact with you, right, post and then go look at engagement. See what else is going on. Who else has posted something today? Tell them why it's a good post. Oh, I like the color you used here. I like this video because the music's really catchy. Oh, I really like this little edit you did here. Oh, I love the text you did. Tell them something that you have noticed and you have paid attention, because people can tell the difference between fake comments and someone who is watching and paying attention to the content.
Ooh. So you saying that it makes sense to after you don't post and run? I never heard that before. So
never just post and leave the app. That's a stupid thing to do. And also, Instagram will punish you for that, same as any app. These apps want you to stay on their app. So if you're going to post, stay there. Make a post. If you post and run, they're like, oh, he only wants views. We're not going to help him out. If you post and then go around, leave them some comments, do a few likes, and do a few saves and that sort of stuff, interacting with people on Instagram. Not only does it help your followers think, oh, this guy's a great guy, he's trying to help me out. Instagram, oh, active. Let's push him into the algorithm a bit more because he's quite active. Instagram wants you to engage.
And you know, I pay so much attention to YouTube, and obviously, you know, the watch time minutes, and they want people to stay on YouTube, and that's why they have the cards. They have this for you to stay on YouTube, and if you can keep people on YouTube, they'll obviously promote your stuff. And I didn't know that the same rules apply to Instagram. I swear to you, Will, I'm a post and take the fuck off kind of dude. I don't care how many likes I can have. You're telling me that if you like somebody else's video, if you happen to, the engagement actually matters. Holy shit, I did not know that.
You know those spam comments sometimes you get on things like promote it on blah blah stars, blah blah blah. Dude, do what Roshtein does, because I learned this from Roshtein. Just be like, okay, even though you know. Just reply with okay, because Instagram sees that as an engagement. It shows you're engaging. So like even they're there, even bots cusses them out. Bots is like, get the fuck out of here, but it works. And like, you leave the comment and the engagement. They Instagram likes engagement, where YouTube likes watch hours, and they used to really be big on the comments on YouTube as well, but now it's all about the watch time. But again, every app or every website or anything you go onto, they want you to stay there. That's the point. And the longer you stay on there, the more money they make. That's the whole thing. So like YouTube sometimes punish people for putting their affiliate links in the comments or putting their links to other bits. If you're directing them away from YouTube, they're going to push your video back down. Right. And that's something that I noticed a lot of YouTubers stopped promoting things because it was taking people off the site and their watch time would go down. So and YouTube will punish you for that. They want you to stay on YouTube. And like so, the best thing I would say for YouTubers, don't recommend links. Do that from other sites that you're not to like Twitter, because Twitter's pretty good for that kind of thing, or Facebook. Right. On YouTube, direct them to somebody else's video or another one of your videos. Don't direct them to products. Just direct them to other videos, because the longer you get people to stay on YouTube, the better. If they jump from your video, and then they go and watch 4 hours of YouTube, you still get a chunk of that watch hours because you directed them from your video to wherever else they went. So you still get a chunk of that.
Interesting. And that right there was a gem. Please take notes for the people in here watching, wanting to get more successful, because that right there, take that consistently. That'll take you somewhere. Let's talk about music networking, no egos, before we get up out of here. Will, the influencer right now on Viral Hip Hop News Live. Definitely appreciate you, man. Your candor, your honesty, and giving the people the gems that they need to be successful on this social media shit that we are dealing with right now, man. Music networking, no egos. You're the content creator and the head of the content creation over there, man. Talk about what you got going on music networking, no egos, and what should we expect from them?
All right, so I was part of New Egos for a long time before I decided to be part of the social media thing. I was doing social media stuff anyway, and they knew that, but there wasn't really a big push for us to be doing things on social media. And then I heard Rothstein one day talking about he wanted to do all these specialty rooms. He wanted to do the social media thing, want the YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. And I was just in a place where I was starting to feel a bit better myself. And I needed a project to distract myself from what was going on in my personal life and my depression. And I said to him straight, listen, Rothstein, let me run that. Let me do the social media thing. I hit him up in his inbox. I said to him, listen, you know what I'm capable of. You know my qualifications. You know my work. Like, let me run this thing with no egos. And he's like, do you know what? Here's your opportunity. Go with it and don't let me down. So for the first couple of weeks, I did it all solo. I was just taking stuff from like YouTube, finding Def Comedy Jam stuff, and promoting Uncle Bob's Thursday night shows. Then I said, let's do a content creator room as well on a Monday, so I can have content. And yeah, it just started snowballing from there. Now I take the clips and the replays that my team tell me about. Like, yeah, this happened at this time. Like, okay, great, I'll go and get the clip for that. And it started kind of growing from there. And I said, you know, I can't do this on my own. I'm going to need a team. So that's where I'm at currently. I'm currently building the music network and the social media team. We have a few people on board right now. We have H. Lee, who has his own podcast. H. Lee is going to lead the Music Network and No Egos podcast. We'll be starting in a couple weeks. I'm going to set up a day where he's going to be doing it weekly. So that'd be great. We've got Ella Miss Music. She's the creative direction. So she's in charge of the direction of the content, because as much as I'm good with it, her vision is incredible, and what she wants for Music Network and No Egos with the content is pretty much what I was thinking, what Roshtein thinks too. So she's involved with our creative direction. She's in charge of that. We have Darshini. Darshini is my branding expert and brand consultant. She's my expert in the room when it comes to branding and how to run a brand, that sort of thing in the room. And then there's myself. I'm the lead content creator. I oversee everything that's going to be going on. I give everyone individual responsibilities, but I will oversee everything before anything goes out. And as a team, we're creating the content. We're just going to come up with a YouTube channel. We're going to use the different clips. We're going to spotlight when people said great things to get on the Instagram and stuff like that. But I'm still looking for more creators. I want videographers. I want photographers, editors, writers, bloggers, like anybody who'd be willing to put in some work. Obviously, we can't pay straight away because this is a volunteer position right now, because it's a free app. We give out free games. We're not in this to make money right now. But I'm hoping with some of the content creator stuff idea, we're going to start making some money, and then we can start paying, obviously, Rothstein, Jackie, Bots, and the rest of the team. So we're going to get there. But I've started a Discord to get everybody onto the Discord where you can start promoting your business. It's going to cost you to promote your business in there, and it's going to cost people to be members to be on our Discord, because there's going to be so many great businesses and great advice in there. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of plans going on right now. Right now, I'm just building the team. So if there is any videographers and photographers, especially in the States, that wouldn't mind doing a bit of pro bono work, traveling from state to state, or just traveling around your state, interviewing artists. If you happen to live near Bots or Jackie or Rothstein, interviewing them and getting ideas, or live anywhere where there's a team member from Music Network and you can film them or take photos of them or anything like that, I'd love you to be involved. I want writers, I want bloggers. I don't care what size your social media is at. If you're into social media, you understand content, and you've got a decent amount of work, come and talk to me. And if I think you're a fit for the family, then yeah, you can come in and we can get some work done.
Dope, man. That's a dope thing you got going on. And if you guys are connected to Clubhouse and you are in this building live, you happen to be watching this on the playback, or whenever you do, go in the Clubhouse, type in Music Networking, No Egos, hit that green house and join that room. I strongly suggest it. If you have a brand, if you're an artist, you don't even necessarily have to be in the music game. You don't have to be in the Hollywood game. You can be somebody that owns a business. I know there's a young lady on there that owns water, and her shit is buzzing right now.
And she's involved in the music industry in any way, but that woman has come into our room, like say, no egos, and she's gone from someone who would waffle on and not get to the point to someone who now listens to every word we say. She hangs on to us. She's listened to me with content. She's listened to Auntie Jack about how to do her 30-second pitch. Uncle Bob has got her confidence up because he's tried to water and given all that amazing feedback. And now she's making the content that I told us, mate, get people doing video testimonials. She listens to that and she's doing it now. That Marquita, it should be very Marquita. If you're listening, you should be very, very proud of yourself. You've worked very hard. Keep going. I want to see this. I want to see this water be worldwide. I want to get it here in the UK.
Salute. I'm going to talk to her too behind the scenes, maybe next week or so.
Get on the podcast, bro. She's funny.
Get her on there and see if I can get a sponsorship. I'll drink some water.
You never know, bro. You never know business, bro.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to do the goddamn thing. All right, I got a couple more questions before we get out of here. Well, I definitely appreciate you. I know it's late over there where you're at. I definitely appreciate your time.
I'm going to take off Rostein's thing as well. So
yeah, Rothstein is coming on in the next 10 minutes. So y'all stay tuned for that. Share this video. We got Rothstein Beats coming on the show. That's Very, very exciting. Can't wait for that. All right, couple more questions and we're gonna get up out of here, right? So you might have said it, but let's repeat it if it happens to be the answer to the next question. Give me one absolute do that you need to do to get your social media popping, and one absolute don't that you don't want to do to hurt your social media platform.
All right, so I've said this already, but personality in your content will always beat the algorithms, the hashtags, and everything like that. If you put your personality into your content and people resonate with who you are and what you've gone through and the experience what they've gone through, that will always, always shine. And one thing don't do on social media, don't do what these I call them fake influencers. Don't do the whole, we're always happy, we're always rich, we've got all this money, we got all of that. Just be yourself. Don't play a character. I know I call myself Will the Influencer, but my name is Will. I am an influencer. That's what I do as a job. But it is a little bit of a character. Sometimes I'm a little bit more hyper than I am in real life, but that's just to entertain people in the music networking Weekends Club or my audience. I don't mind acting a fool sometimes, but as you can see now, I'm just being myself. I'm relaxed. I'm chilling. Don't show off. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a fake version of yourself. Just be you. People think I dress up in these fancy clothes and wear all this jewelry and like they think I'm just being fake. It's like, no, I just have a love for that style and I like looking like that. There's nothing to show off about. I just like looking like it, and that's it. That's part of me. And yeah, so just be yourself and don't lie. Simple.
Be yourself is that simple. It ain't about hashtagging. It ain't about trying to grab 1 million fucking followers. It's not about going out here and doing the most ridiculous thing that we like the people to like we see out here. It's not about doing all that to try to gain attention for 15 seconds and then
7 billion people on this planet, right? You're telling me
right.
you're your own unique personality where no one can resonate with you. Nonsense. There's probably 1 million people out there that have been through exactly the same thing that you're going through. They need someone who's been through it and willing to speak out to listen to. You can get your 1 million followers just by telling your story. The hashtags and that, helps you get out there. But all right, once you're out there, who are you? I keep saying personality in your content is so important.
Facts on facts, man. Definitely appreciate your time. Before we get up out of here, let them know, let the good people know where they can find you, all your social media handles. The floor is yours, brother.
All right. So my Instagram is Will_the_influencer_Street Heat. I work for Street Heat TV on the UK division. We also have Street Heat TV UK. Check that out on Facebook and on Instagram. The main page where you can find what I get up to, you can find Born2, which is BORN, #2 Capture Media Agency. That's on Facebook and on Instagram. But my big media page, recaps, blogs, and reviews on Facebook. Nearly 15,000 followers. If you can get up to 15,000, I really appreciate it. We've been working really hard. It's a viral media page. You'll find stuff I filmed on there, but you'll also find things like news, viral content, TikToks, reels, like stuff by celebrities, boxing. You'll find all sorts of madness on it. It's a great viral content page, and you really enjoy it.
Dope. I lied. I got one more question, and it's from the audience real quick because I appreciate everybody that's been listening and watching. And she said this a little earlier on, so I'm gonna bring that up. And she asked, Will, did the views of the U.S. change with our last 2 presidents?
Ooh, yeah, I'd say when Obama was in, it seemed like a much friendlier country because you had your first black president. It seemed like the mood of the country was changing. But then once Trump came in, people once again assumed that it's just a racist country, and celebrities are now getting in to be a president, which is ridiculous because over here you could never have a celebrity be the prime minister. So right. I think your political, the politics in America is looked over here as a bit of a joke because you got guys like The Rock who want to run for president or Kanye wants to run for president, which to us is ridiculous. You could never ever have someone like that become in power in our country. So. I mean, that's pretty, to me, just politics is a bit of a joke over there if you get people like Trump in power,
Yeah. How do y'all think about Biden? Do y'all think about him at all?
I stopped paying attention after Trump. Once Trump came, I was like, I'm not watching this shit no more. But he seems like he might be a bit worse than Trump. I mean, maybe not as outspoken, but he seems to be fucking up the country. But I'll keep watching and see what happens.
Yeah, she said, thank you very much. And Will, I appreciate you. Will the Influencer, Viral Hip Hop News Live. Check him out on all his social media handles. And most importantly, Music Networking, No Egos, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Specialty rooms on Tuesday at 6.
So my one's Mondays at 6.
Monday.
For UK, that's 11 o'clock. So make sure you're there. Come through, come chat with the team. We're going to help people with content. And we're having like daily meetings too. So the beginning of the room is always the content creators having a quick meeting of what we're going to do, where we're moving to. And then we move into the question and answers and seeing if we can help people with content.
Indeed. Tap the fuck in. You already know. Will the Influencer. Appreciate you, brother. Salute.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Viral Hip Hop News. You're doing good things. Keep moving.
Thank you very much, brother. You take care. See you Monday.
Peace.
We in the building, man. Viral Hip Hop News live on this beautiful Saturday evening, doing the goddamn thing. Y'all hit that like button, hit that notification bell, subscribe to the brand. You already know I got my man Rothstein Beats behind the scenes, about to get on here. My guy, you already know we about to do the goddamn thing, man. How y'all liking it so far, man? Y'all let me know in the comment section how y'all liking the conversation. So far, we had Will the Influencer on. Music Networking, No Egos, doing the damn thing, letting us know how we can better our brands and get our numbers up in the social media game, something that is very important out here for people that are doing their thing on social media. You already know. About to get Rothstein Beats on here in a very, very, very short time. Matter of fact, I know it's a little close to 8:30, but let's bring the good brother on right goddamn now. What it do, my guy?
Hello, my guy. What's good with you? What's going on,
Hey,
fam?
man. It's good to finally see your face and not hear the voice, man. It's good to finally formally get to meet, even though it is virtually, man. We got the good brother Rothstein Beats on Viral Hip Hop News right now. Mega producer, super producer, one of the heads of the platform on Clubhouse. I've been telling y'all about Music Networking, No Egos, an absolutely phenomenal room on Clubhouse, man. And I got one of the creators right here, brother. Definitely appreciate you. How you feeling out there, man? Introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, man, I'm feeling good, man. What's going on, everybody? My name is Rothstein Beats, music producer. I'm from Las Vegas. I'm currently in Virginia, the Virginia Beach area, 757 Stand Up. I specialize in hip hop and R&B. I'm a co-creator of the Music Networking No Egos Club on Clubhouse, the best club on Clubhouse. So make sure you pull up and check us out. Sound royalty referral rep, songwriter, mentor, just do a lot of different things, man. But I appreciate you having me on your platform, my guy. I appreciate you, homie.
Y'all can't hear goddamn. I was just running my motherfucking mouth. Y'all couldn't hear.
I thought it was me, my guy.
Yeah, damn. Okay, I'm gonna run that whole John back. All right. So what I said was we just had Will on. Shout out to Will the Influencer, man.
Shout out to Will.
Indeed. And he was telling me about how he was going through some very dark times. He's telling people how he was going through some dark times. Throughout his life, he fell into depression, and he wasn't really coming into the room, Music Networking, No Egos room. And he was throwing some kind of disturbing things on social media that caught your attention. And you just reached out to the brother and say, yo, you all right? How you doing? Come back to the room. And that caught my attention because you look at the power that's in that room, Music Networking, No Egos, and you look at the influence that's in there. And for you to hit that brother up personally to make sure he's good, kind of really in the last couple of minutes gave me a good idea on the character that you are. You know what I'm saying? And who you are.
I appreciate that, bro.
Indeed. So I'm curious to know how you got into music growing up. Like, can you give us a little backstory on your history and who you are, brother?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, again, man, shout out to my guy Will, man. That's my guy, my UK connect, as I like to call him, man. But just to kind of tap back into that story real quick. I notice things on social media, whether people, they usually post positive things, but then when you start to see people posting little different things, it takes nothing but a couple minutes just to reach out to somebody and be like, hey man, you good? What's going on? And I notice when he's not in the room, because he's a part of the room. And when certain people missing, everybody knows. Like if I'm not there, everybody asks me if I'm good. So it's just up to me, as far as one of the leaders of the group, to just check on the people, because we do it for the people. So I just want to shout out my guy Will, man. Keep going, my guy. Keep your head up, and we're gonna keep cooking, my guy. We're gonna definitely keep cooking. So but yeah, just to tap in on that, man. But for me, man, my music thing, man, it goes back to, just like a lot of people, my parents got me into music at a young age. You know what I'm saying? I actually played the violin for a little bit until, my homies told me it was like a girl instrument. So I have stopped doing it after that. So then, I got into playing the piano a little bit, but then it was kind of boring. So I just kind of just was a fan of music at that time. But then my older brother was a rapper. This is when you actually had to go to the studios back then. Like you couldn't just do it at your crib. Like you actually had to go to the studio. So I went to a couple sessions with them. They had a couple, Tritons in there and the MPC and stuff like that. So, that's when I really got my interest in, producing. I never wanted to rap. You know what I'm saying? I left that to the people who really could do it. But I was very interested of, how songs was created. Why were they using certain strings? Why were they using certain kicks and snares? Like that was, what interests me at the time. So that kind of started my musical journey, at a young age, being around my family, they got me into the music game.
You made me smile just now saying the Triton, because I was in the choir about 2001, 2002. My choir director, Mr. Bass, brought in this $2,000 piece of equipment called a Triton, and I could play drums and shit on the keys. I was like, oh, this drum right here.
Yeah. Hello.
This is crazy. I still don't know what I'm doing on the thing, but it was fun to stare at back then, man. So talk about how the evolution of beat making, because you talked about the MPC, you talked about the Triton and the sounds that come out of them, and now everything is so digital where you got these beat packs and you got all this stuff and people using the same stuff. It's definitely changed throughout time. So talk about the evolution of beat making and how it's changed from you starting with the MPC and the Triton to now with being so digital.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to think about back then, man, we didn't have the internet. So it was just like a lot of people either knew how to play an instrument or they actually, had a sampler or something like that. So, with the ASR 10s and, a lot of people had to like chop their samples up a certain kind of way. And a lot of my, favorite producers were sample-based producers. So, for example, like shout out my guy Knots and Bink and RZA, Q-Tip, Jay Dilla, a lot of those guys, I was just seeing how they chopped up samples. So they influenced me to, once I started to learn about the MPC, I started to learn about chopping up samples and sampling, counting bars of samples and certain things like that. So to have to do things like the hard way versus now, it takes me like, I could really make a beat in about 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Versus me, it may take me 3 days back in, say, 2000, 2001. It used to take me like a minute, like to cook a beat up. So I say the fastest thing about production now is just having a computer. And now you got things, you can cut it right up on the computer. You can sample it. You can record your music on the computer. So, just with technology, it just changed the game to make everything faster. Now you can actually be in a session with somebody and don't even have to be in the same room. So, you know what I mean? Like, and it's real time, no latency, no lagging. So, man, I'm just saying, like, technology just changed the game. So, I always say technology is a good and bad thing because it made a lot of people lazy and people feel like they can do it, and it's still an art to this producing thing.
You brought me to my next question. Everybody feels like they can do it, and we all know that everybody can't do it, and that's clear when we watching and listening to music right now. Well, how influential was it? Because I know you said you played the violin, and that shit ain't easy at all. And the piano, how influential was that in even just adapting and evolving your ear in music and the sound in music and how that influenced your production? Do you see a help in that, playing those instruments?
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't know anything about keys to songs and scales and progressions and understanding why certain things happen, or why when you press this key it don't go with this key, or then you can find a chord. And then and it's so learning music is the fundamental base to just anything. Even if you sampling, it's still an art to it. It's still, you got to be able to understand why this part goes with this part, or maybe the tempo might be a little bit different. So I always say that get the understanding of music first, because a lot of times I know people who just are straight musicians, but they can't produce certain kind of hip hop beats, trap beats. You know what I'm saying? They only just know how to make like, whatever the structure is. So
Right.
so I still say, you have to understand like how music works in order to like develop your ear, and why your bass line has to be tuned and your drums have to be tuned. So there's certain things that they teach you that you won't just learn it on your own. And sometimes the internet, won't show you everything. So you definitely want to make sure you get with somebody who knows music, and you can learn. It's a journey. So just jump in.
When was your first quote unquote, I'm gonna say big break in the industry. Obviously, I remember back in the day, you would make beats and you would have people that were looking for songs, and you would look for placements and things like that. And you would submit them various ways if you had a connection or something like that. Very different now. It ain't like you can just throw it on the computer and somebody can see it and it can go crazy. But what was your first big break, and how did that evolve?
Man, this when I realized the power of networking. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just throw it for back in the day, like working with Misha from 702. You know, she was the first, like, you know, because that, you know, being from Vegas, they was like the top notch, you know, artists who really made it from the city. So, being around her, and she worked with Pharrell and, you know, all these different people, and to hear her tell me I have music just as good as them, or, you know, just as good as him, and, you know, you know, my ahead of my time is what they used to say, and that was actually through my homie who knew I made beats, and so he was like, "Yo, I want to bring, you know, Misha through, and she ready to work on an album outside from 702, because they was kind of going whatever they was going through." But you know, but she taught me so much about how to record. She taught me so much about, you know, how professionals did it. So once I kind of learned, I was in my 20s, so I was just like, oh wow, like, okay, this is how they do this, or how Pharrell does this in the session, or this, that, and that. So, you know, just being around people who's been in those, you know, working with the top tier artists, like what's their work ethic like? How are they in the studio? And just asking those type of questions, I was able to, you know, use it for, you know, my own, you know, use going on later on in my career, and how I record. She taught me so many different things that I didn't know, you know. So just being around people who know more than you is definitely the best way to learn.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of us get into this music game with the love of music and absolutely no idea about the business, none at all. And we do it for the love of it. And I remember I had a good friend of mine, got out of high school. He was an incredible artist. Somebody picked him up. He was writing for Marion. He was writing for Sierra. He went to Germany. He went to Amsterdam. They had this dude traveling, writing, going crazy, showing up some of the top artists in the game at that point, and he got nothing for it. He got zero, no money, didn't have anything protected. They used he was going in there showing off in a booth, going crazy. They would take all of his stuff and replicate it. It was absolutely disgusting. And it just gave me my first real insight on how nasty this business is. When did it come together for you to where, was it right off the gate, or did you have to go through some months to learn the business of this game?
I mean, sometimes you got to learn through paying, and sometimes you got to learn through experience. You know what I'm saying? And so I learned through experience. I didn't know anything about publishing. I didn't know anything about signing up with ASCAP or BMI, or anything like that. I just was in the studio. So, you know what I mean? And to help somebody create something, and then they actually go to sell a lot of records and you get no credit, it hurts you. It hurts your heart every time you hear that song. You like knowing you had some part to do with that. And I know so many people like that. I know people who were signed to some of the biggest, you know, biggest producers in the game, and then they don't come out, they shelve, and then, you know, years later they're finally out of their contract, but, you know, they have such a bad taste in their mouth. So that could have been a dope artist. We had another artist in the game. So seeing that happen, seeing people who was on, and then they, you know, they asked them borrow money. You're like, yeah, weren't you then you sell to such and such? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you, when you look at that, you like, man, like, what's wrong? Like, why are we, you know what I'm saying? Why are we seeing this trend? Because it's more people that was on and fell off versus people that's still on. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference of people having a 20-year career versus a 3-year career. You know what I mean? So it's like I had to learn, like, hey man, let me dig into this. And the guy said, hey, you didn't do a split sheet? I said, I didn't know what a split sheet was. You know what I'm saying? It was like, did you do this? No, I didn't. And so I'm like, wow, I need to know what I'm getting myself into before I go anywhere, before I tap in with anybody. I need to make sure I know what's going on. So guess what? I sat and studied. I called people. Then the internet started popping up. Then different, you know, then different things started to make sense once you start putting it together. Like, yo, like this, you need to have this, you need to have this, and some books, all you need to know about the music business. It's different. It was, it's books and stuff out there, but this is, we talking about before the internet. A lot of people didn't go to the library. A lot of people didn't know that these books, you just trying to cook up in the studio. You just trying to make a hit record, but not knowing that it's only going to be a hit if you got your paperwork right. Because if not, it's going to be a disaster. So yeah, that's when I learned, is just going through that experience and knowing personally some people who, who sold, millions of records,
Right.
and you don't have nothing to show for it. It's crazy.
The book's been dusted in the motherfucker in that library.
Man, come on, man. Ain't nobody check that book out in 10 years.
I'm curious, you from Vegas, man, and we talk to people throughout this country, New York, Florida, Houston, Atlanta, LA, whatever the case may be, and we all can identify what it sounds, St. Louis, whatever the case may be. What's Vegas sound, and who influenced you to form and create your sound?
Well, it's so crazy because Vegas has been struggling to find that for a while. Like, what is that Vegas sound? Like, what because a lot of people from Vegas are transplants. Let's just be honest. A lot of people have migrated to Vegas, so it's kind of like I always say Vegas is always going to be undeveloped because they always building, they always trying adding to it, tearing stuff down and rebuilding. So. For Vegas, it's like we got the West Coast, we got a lot of Bay Area, influence and people from that area. We got people from Arizona, so it's like the Southwest, and then a lot of people from Texas as well. So I would say most of the sound is that West Coast, West Coast bop, like hyphy music was popping there for a minute. But now I feel like they're trying to find a sound because Atlanta and the 808s took over everything, so it's just kind of like that took over everything. So it's like, how do you try to compete with people that got like beats like that? So it's like they're trying to discover themselves. But for me personally, I traveled through. My father was in the military, so I did travel a bit. So I was able to here East Coast, West Coast, and then having family members. So I guess for me, being able to go to move to different cities and meet people from different areas, my influence just kind of got all over the place. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I love the down south, I love the West Coast, I love the East Coast. I even lived in Germany, and I got into techno and EDM and just different things like that. So for me, I just say through my travel, just kind of, created my musical palette. Just like, man, let me listen to this, or let me check this out, or hey, have you heard of this dude? And I'm like, nah, I ain't heard of him. And then somebody put me on. So that's so my influences, I'll just say, is just all over, man. But I just love different styles, different sounds. If it's fire, it's fire. You know what I mean?
Word. Would you say that, and not to count your pockets, but that opened up your wallet a little bit, because you talk about you can hit any genre and kind of specialize in all of it, and you're not boxed into a particular sound because of your area, so you can pretty much do everything.
That's the biggest thing. A lot of people tell me is like a lot of my production doesn't sound the same. They're like, man, you got a record with Papoose, and then next thing you know, you got a record with this person over here, like from the West Coast, and then I work with people from down south, and I work with people in Brazil. I work with people in England. I work with people in Africa. So it's just like you got to be able to have like a universal kind of sound when you're dealing with people from different places, especially international. A lot of international, they like classic sounds, or they like like a worldly sound. So you just gotta open, like you said, open your pocket up. So that's why I'm trying to work with Ariana Grande, and I'm trying to work with Future. You know what I'm saying? Right. So hello.
Absolutely. You heard. So talk about the recording experience, because I've been in a lot of studios, and me personally, I'm an R&B singer, so I like to kind of come up with melodies myself, lyrics myself, and then have the producer kind of wrap around his expertise or her expertise around what I already have created to kind of create something new. But I know some people like to go in there and listen to 10, 12, 20 beats and get an idea from beats that they've already heard, and then kind of go from there. So what is like your flow like in the studio? Are you typically somebody that likes to go in there and just show beats, or do you cater around the artist, or is it them? Do you let them work for you? How does that work?
I guess I'm a I don't want to say like a classic producer, but I like to already have something cooked up. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times I already have a something in mind. If I'm working with a certain artist, I'm gonna cook up something like kind of like what I think I can hear them on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I know I'm going to assess with Future, then I'm already have some high energy, and then I might switch him up with something different that he not expecting. Because every artist, every artist kind of get used to people wanting to hear a certain sound from them. They're like, oh, all right, I know you probably got these kind of beats. But then I always like to come with a little curveball, be like, hey, man, we'll try this kind of vibe. And they're like, oh,
Mm.
yeah, they gave me a little different vibe, a different energy. So, but at the same time, I can cook up something right there with you if you saying, hey, I got a song idea, or hey, I got this melody in my head that goes dun, 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 and then and so I could kind of be, all right, well, this is the vibe, and then we can just cook it up that way. But for me, I like to go in there prepared. I like to come in there with a game plan and be intentional. Like if I'm working with Fantasia, then I got kind of, what I'm saying? Like, all right, I got these ideas for her. And and then let's cook it up and see what we can do. But she down to do something new too, or hey, can you change something in this beat? And I always say every beat is a work in progress until we about to sell it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is so if you want me to change something in the beat or that's the kind of producer I am. Like, all right, well, I might change something after I hear you lay your verse. I might add a little something extra on top and go back and recook it, after I hear what you do on it. So, it worked both ways with me.
Word. Now, in today's age, especially, you hear a lot of people saying, I'm a producer. I'm a producer. And they don't know the difference between a beat maker and a producer.
Hello.
Somebody that's in there actually producing a record. Somebody that's in there that's helping with melody, helping with breath, helping with vocal, helping with a lot of different arrays other than just simply making a beat.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the vast difference in your opinion between beat making and producing.
Man, this is like you talk about if you want to start a fight amongst producers and beat makers, start this conversation up, my guy, because I'm telling you, this is probably the number one, issue between creatives is really trying to specify which one are you. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I don't disrespect either one. You know what I'm saying? Because beat makers make some dope ass records too. Beat makers make some fire records too. So I was a beat maker for many years. Let me say
Right.
that. I was a beat maker for many years because, like you said, I go in with the beat already ready, saying, hey, hear the beat, rap on it, sing on it, do what you do, and then I leave and I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So if you do that, you are a beat maker. You dig me? So if you just give a beat to the artist, say do your thing, you walk in the other room, you go smoke out back smoke, you go leave the crib, you do whatever, leave the stew, and then you come back when it's done, you're a beat maker. Now, if you are a producer, you are sitting there with the artist, with them from A to we gonna do the split sheet down all the way till we getting this whole thing completely done, ready, give it to the label or the distributor or whoever you do. So you cooking the record from the whole time you get it. You get it from start to finish. And like I said, if you want to go back in there and change something, you can go back in there and change something. If you want to say, hey, I want you to put this melody in there or change this da 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 in there, then that's where you come in and you're really producing the record. Like you're making sure it gets done the way that you and the artist have collabed and came together and say, hey, this is how we're going to do it. And that's when I, years later, got into becoming an engineer / producer as well. And that's another one I want to throw in there as well. There's producers that also engineer as well, because they can also vocal produce you as well as record and mix and master you. So so a producer can also have an engineer part into it as well. So that's where you got to also know that you can, that you can be a multifaceted producer. But if you're a beat maker, you just provide the beat and then you done.
Are you an engineer too? You engineer as well?
Yeah, I engineer as well. Yep.
He getting all the bread. And
Hello.
Rothstein getting all the money, because that ain't easy
Hey.
either. People producing still don't know what the fuck they doing on the computer. They sitting there staring at whatever the case, Pro Tools or Logic. Like, what the fuck is going on? They don't know what they doing. They just making beats. They don't know how to you know what I'm saying? They have no
that's
idea.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Let's talk about music networking, no egos, man. I was introduced shout out to Gemini, Andre on Gemini, owner
My
of Big
guy.
Gemini Kennels. It's my dude. We interviewed him a couple months back, and me and him stayed in contact after the interview. And he introduced me. He was like, "Yo, man, do you do Clubhouse?" I'm like, "Hell no, I don't fuck Clubhouse. I don't do it. I don't want to sit there with my face in the box and listen to people gossip. That ain't my thing. I'm trying to make money. I ain't trying to do that." He's like, "Yo, bro, exactly what you're saying. They got on there. Won't you come in there?" So I got hooked up with Money Train Love and my man Mike Jones and the Peep Game Play Lame crew, and they were doing this artist spotlight associated or alongside with Music Networking No Ego. So I'm like, "Oh, Music Networking No Ego." I clicked the box and my life changed from there. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten most influential people in the game, and just the amount of knowledge and wealth of knowledge and the circles that you begin to get into. It's an absolute blessing. I cannot stress that enough, people. If you are in the building right now, please, if you're on Clubhouse, join Music Networking No Egos, because trust me, it's worth its weight in gold. But we got one of the creators here, and like I was asking Will when he got on it, I'm very curious to know what influenced you to not only get on Clubhouse, but to begin starting this room. And when did you start seeing success come from it?
Man. Well, first and foremost, I gotta shout my team out before I start to talk about this story, man. Shout out to my guy Bots and Auntie Jackie. Y'all, hey, I love y'all. Y'all my fam. Y'all already know what time it is. So I'll take it back to I gotta shout out my girl TT. She's the one who gave me my invite. TT from Harlem. Shout out to you. That's my sis. She plugged me in. So I was in Atlanta. And she was like, "Hey, man, I've been waiting months for my invite on Clubhouse." I said, "An invite on Clubhouse?" She's like, "Yeah, you ain't never heard of Clubhouse?" I'm like, "Nah." And this was probably October. This is October 2020. She was like,
Okay.
"Yo, I'm waiting on my invite." She was like, "As soon as I get mine, I'm gonna invite you. You only get 2 invites, and I'm gonna give you one of them." And I said, "So hold on." I said, "What kind of platform is it?" She said, "Yo, this is a music platform where it's an audio platform. It got, all the top influencers, different, label executives." She's like, "You need to be on this app." She's like, with your production and your personality, you need to be on the app." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So she finally get the invite. She sent me the invite. So I didn't know what I was looking for. So she sent me the invite, and like 4 days later, she was like, "Yo, why you not on Clubhouse?" I'm like, "I've been waiting on a link or something." She's like, "No, you got to download the app." So I
Oh,
said, "Yeah." So I missed 4 days on the app, just sitting here waiting, think I'm supposed to get something. And so anyway, I log on, and when I first get on there, I'm looking at this like, "Yo, this looking like Chinese. I don't know I don't know what's going on." You know what I'm saying? I just see these little room titles and just different things like that. So I start hopping in rooms, you know what I'm saying? I just hear people up there talking, you know what I mean? People going crazy, people cussing people out. I'm like, "Yo, what is going on here?" And so I never forget, I hopped in this music room. It had like A&Rs from like different labels reviewing your music. And so like certain people would go and it would be trash music. So then they will kick them out the room, kick them to the goo, say, "Yo, you suck. Like, you don't need to do music no more." There was people crying up there, like crying like on there, like, "Yo, can't believe y'all told me that." And it was like all type of things going on. I was like, "Yo, I don't know if I don't even want to be a part of this." You know what I'm saying? Because it's like too much drama. But then I happened to pull up just a random room. It was Bots and my guy Chris Pimpson.
okay.
It was their room, and those were my first, co-creators of the Music Network and No Egos. So we used to just pull up in the room and just talk. Like, it was no structure. It was no people introducing themselves or networking or anything like that. It literally was just us talking in the room, having fun, playing beats, talking about, working together, doing different things. And then a lot of people start pulling up to our room. So, us being suspicious, we like, "Who the hell is this? Like, who in here just trying to listen to what our conversation is?" So we started inviting people on stage. And so we like, "Yo, introduce yourself." That's kind of how it first started. Like, who you are and introduce yourself. And so then, we started getting known on the app. We had a couple big rooms on the app. Me, Chris, and Bots kind of separated and did our own things. And so I rebooted. It was first called Music Network and No Egos or Capping, but then I just rebooted it to Music Network and No Egos. And so at this time, we had met Auntie Jackie and everything. We had a whole little crew going. And I was like, yo, we need to treat this like a TV show. You know, we need to have like, you know, segments and hours and, you know. And they're like, Rothstein, who was you? You trying to be the leader? I'm like, no, I'm just telling you. I'm like, you know, we need to have, you know, we need to have some structure to it. And then once we start getting structure to it, like, I mean, so many people start pulling up to the room and, you know, this person knew this person and they brought them to the room. I mean, Tiffany Haddish and then it just so many. I mean, we had Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis,
Wow.
Kid and Play. Like we just had so many different people start pulling up. But then when we got Bob in there, it just went to a whole nother level after that. So man, the story is just the club is growing and growing, and we man, so many deals have been made. So many people have production deals. I got so many deals out of there. So long story short, man, we just in there networking, trying to make, you know, big things happen, man. So shout out to everybody who pull up and support each and every day, man.
Not only is it a networking phenomenon, it almost makes you, it reminds me of like a black version of Cheers, to where you could just pick up the bar and everybody knows your name and shit. And you like, oh, what's up? You got your bartenders and y'all doing y'all thing, and everybody's just one big happy family. And we get to network. And sometimes you don't network. Sometimes you just sit there and you listen to gems get thrown all day. And one of my favorite gems is the gift is in the giving. You know what I mean? Kind of motivated me to do what I'm doing right now, because I wanted to do the artist spotlight. I wanted to give independent artists, not just music artists, but anybody with brands, businesses, somebody with a dream, a platform where they can kind of show off their brand and their idea to people that wouldn't typically know them. And when I heard that, it kind of was just like, you know what, that's the sign right there. To extend a branch to people, not only within this room, but out here, just to let them know, hey, you got a platform, you got a voice. There's the businesses that have to be run, but at the same time, the gift truly is within the giving. So talk about that and just how you guys consistently just give your time, give your knowledge, give your wealth. Why was that such an important staple to have in music networking, No Egos?
I mean, is like I said, is no ego. So we all one time were looking for somebody to help us at one time. To like I said, you heard my story. I didn't have a mentor or anybody to go to who went through some music, who knew anything about the game, who knew about the business side to it. So we all just collectively came together and was like, hey, we have some knowledge. You know, Bots has been in game over 20 years. Auntie Jackie's been in her field for over 20 years. So, you know, you're talking about, people who've been doing this for years and years and years. And when we saw the need of how many artists that just didn't even know the basics, like they didn't even know how they were like me at one point. I didn't know anything about publishing companies. I didn't know anything about copyrights or I thought poor man copyright was a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I felt I had the little dunce cap on too at one time. So when you know that when you know what they say, you know better, you do better. So when you know that it's people out here that could be the next big thing, and you could be that piece that could help them get to the next point in their career. That's the part about giving. That's the part about being helpful, because we giving our time and we giving our knowledge and we giving our energy, and that's why we protect our space the way we do, because thousands and thousands of people have been helped. Not hundreds, we talking thousands, and we've been doing this for over a year now. And when I tell you my DMs and my back channels, and I mean, so many people just thanking me for the room, thanking us for, making them laugh. Like, even like Will, like going through different real life situations. We lost a few people. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a real room to know that, hey, like we actually care. We real people, and we here to make deals happen. Because like I said, if I would have known 10 years ago what I know now, my network would be super jumping right now. My network jumping now, but it would have been super jumping if I would have known 10 years ago. But everything's about timing, and I'm so thankful for Clubhouse and the Music Network and No Egos Club.
As am I, and I'm thankful for you guys that are running what an incredible room and doing the things for the people, man. I appreciate that. I'm not going to hold too much more of your time. I know you're a busy brother, and I definitely appreciate your time. But I want to give to the people real quick, the aspiring artists, maybe an aspiring beat producer. My son, who's in the other room right now, he's 13 years old, and I know he's listening. Who somebody that is aspiring to get into the game as far as a producer on a production standpoint is concerned, what's some of the best advice you can give them as far as investing? What the first thing they should invest in? What's the first thing they should kind of look into? Maybe people to study. Give the people some of Rothstein's knowledge on how to get into producing.
Man, I always say you got to start with the past. You got to go back and listen to the songs like from the 70s, from the 60s, from the 80s. Listen to every era because those producers, those musicians did something special back then. And it's a formula. It's a formula to the music business. So you have to know, you have to be intentional about what you're trying to do. If you're gonna make an R&B song, make an R&B song. You know what I'm saying? Learn what an R&B song is. If you're gonna make a
Right.
hip hop song, trap song, learn what it like. Learn from where they started and then where they in the middle and then where it's at now. You know what I mean? So I always say study the greats. I always say that if you're gonna be great, Kobe looked at Jordan, Jordan looked at Dr. J. You know, you have to study people who came before you to understand why they were successful. What was it about them that made them successful? Why is this beat? Why are people gravitating to this kind of music? Like, understand that part first. And then I'll say, as far as investing, I always say you build your studio piece by piece. You don't try to go buy, everything at one time. Because guess what? You got to learn how to connect 10 things up at one time now. You know what I'm saying? So you build your studio piece by piece. That's what I did for myself. If you want to, start out with a beat machine. You know what I mean? Learn the beat machine. Understand how that works. Then guess what? Get a MIDI keyboard. Understand how a MIDI keyboard works.
Mhm.
Then you definitely got to get you some software, whether you're using, Fruity Loops, whether you're using Logic. GarageBand is free. You can start on GarageBand. I always tell, the young producers, start on GarageBand. Learn the basics, learn about tempo, go on YouTube University is, I mean, whatever you want to learn is going to be on YouTube. So YouTube University. And then just to kind of wrap it up is, if you're gonna do this thing, you gotta put the time into it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just do it like one day a week and be like, all right, I'm gonna just do it fly by night. Like, whatever you put into it is what you're gonna get in out of it. So you wonder about certain people, like, why I ain't make it, why I ain't doing this, why this ain't happening. You got to look at what you're doing. Are you getting around the right people? Are you showing up to events where there's other musicians? Are you networking with other musicians? Are you on Clubhouse? What you doing on your Instagram? What you doing on what you doing on Twitter? Like,
Right.
it's people are everywhere, musicians everywhere. There's artists everywhere. So if you're a producer, find an artist in your city. Y'all connect. I got 3 artists in my city that I work with and I meet with weekly.
So
We link up and meet up weekly, whether we cook up a record or we just talking fellowship and get to know each other more and better. So that's going to help our music chemistry as well. So find an artist that you can link up with. Hey, even if he got some things going, just go help his movement, like his stuff, share his stuff. And you is no telling who's in your city is the next person to go in your city, and you could be a part of that movement. So just be available as a producer. Let people know what you do. Like, when they come to your Instagram, they should know what you do. When
right.
you know what I'm saying? When I look at your Facebook, they should know what you do, because I got deals off of people knowing I made beats. Even though 30 people may look at this picture, one guy said, "Hey man, I saw you did this thing, da da da," and I got a deal. Somebody buying a beat just like that. So you never know who's watching, and I'm gonna land my plane right there. Hello.
My guy got Rothstein Beats on Viral Hip Hop News Live right now. Definitely appreciate the knowledge and appreciate your time, my good brother. Real quick before we get up out of here. Matter of fact, I got one more question for you, if you don't mind.
All day. Oh no, I'm here, my guy. We keep it rocking, my guy. Hello.
Shit, I might got a few more questions for you, then, my guy. I got So, your favorite artist? What's been one of your favorite artists to work with? You've done beats and done music with people all around the world. What was one of your favorite artists to work with, and what genre? I won't put a person on there. I ain't gonna put you out there like that. But what genre was probably one of the most difficult you've ever worked with?
Man, sheesh. I would say right now, because it can change just depending on my mood. Right now, what I'm rocking is what I did with Papoose, man. We got 2 records together. We're working on something else too, but It's a joint called 50% Human. I was off of his latest album called December. So make sure y'all keep streaming, running that up. But that right there is my favorite right now because it literally is he just a lyrical. I love lyrics. I come from the era of lyrics. Jay-Z's my favorite rapper, so like you gotta impress me with your words. If I want now, if I want to work with you, and it's crazy. I wanted to work with Pat, and that came to fruition. It's a few other people that I already sent some music to, so we're gonna see what happens with that. But the most difficult one is actually when I did a film score. It's called The Ghost Town of Dallas. You can check it on YouTube. And that was my first time working with different professionals from the film industry. And I submitted some records, and they was like, "It's too much percussion. Take the drum, change the drums up." I was like, "Oh snap!" So I took them. I learned. A lot of times less is more once you start dealing with documentaries and dealing with certain things. Like, so that right there was kind of like, and not checking my ego, but it kind of made me be like, he's like, "Nah, you need to do this," or "Nah, I don't like that, so do this." So it's like, all right, like they really picking my beats apart. So it's kind of like, you got to be on top of your game and be a professional. And I think that's very important. Is don't take nothing personal. And if you're a professional, you can go back in, and even if they say, "Hey, I don't like this," you can take it out and come back and do something dope. And then they're like, "Oh no, that's it right there." And then they was, and then it happened, and then the project came out super dope. So that was something that was new for me. I wasn't used to people telling me like, "Nah, too much drums," or this, take that. I don't like them hi-hats or da da da. So I thought that was pretty dope learning experience.
Did it take you a minute to kind of check your ego? No pun intended, or was it
Yeah,
quick?
I'm like, who this guy telling me about what I need to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is he? I'm the music guy. You know what I'm saying? You just the video guy. But nah, it was like the director really being like on top of his game. Like, nah, like this is what I need for this scene, or this feel is gonna go with these type of, because they let me watch the doc with no music. You know what I'm saying? So then I was able to put, beats for different sections, and then that was my first time doing that, and I was just like, yo, that's super dope how I did that, and then I ended up doing another score after that. So you know what I mean. It was kind of just like getting into that, but I said that's what I want to do when I get older. Like when I get in my 50s, I want to just do film scores, and convert TV commercials and shit. That's it. Like I don't want to deal with no music.
How is that on the production side? Because you watching, it's different than you actually doing a record. You watching a movie, and we hear the music and behind, movies and shit, and it always captivates us. But it's almost like a hit gem. It's almost like that candy in your ear that you don't realize is there, but you don't also realize how important it is. So talk about that, like the thought process behind doing a score and how you went about that.
Well, you got to realize certain keys of songs will create an emotion. You know what I mean? Like if it's a softer key, you can feel sad. If it's a darker key, you can feel more aggressive. So once you start to learn that whatever emotion or feel they're trying to get out of that scene, you can cater. Maybe I need some dark strings, or maybe I need something exciting about to happen, or maybe I need to add some crashes, or maybe it just really depends on the mood. And that's why a lot of producers also got to know you got to create a mood or a vibe for the record. You know what I'm saying? So whenever like you start dealing with music supervisors, they're gonna say, "Hey, I need a Halloween kind of vibe, or I need a cherry kind of mood, or I need a sad, depressing kind of vibe." And if you can understand how to tap into those kind of vibes and know how to create music around those vibes, then you'll be able to, get those type of placements where you're doing a big film, like, but it's a whole nother art form into sync placements and doing those type of film scores and different things like that. It's a whole nother lane than we just cooking up a record to rap and sing on. Now, even though they do use those records in movies and stuff like that, but for majority of the movie is usually just instrumentals that play during different parts of the scenes.
Respect to that. Something people don't know about, but like I said, so very, very important. I've gotten a little taste of this game, man, doing what I do and having the podcast that I've had. We've interviewed and been blessed to interview some of the top people in this game. And one thing that I've learned is how fake this shit really is. These people ain't who they They really
Hello.
aren't. They'll say one thing on the
Hello.
camera and then do something totally different off it, and it's some wild shit. So can you give us a story on? And you don't got to give us a name on a situation where you walked in with somebody and you may have thought one thing about them, and then you came out like, yo, this person wasn't what they said they was.
Oh my God, man! Listen, Clubhouse is full of them, man. Clubhouse is full of people who, you know what I mean, they credit their own bio. So when you create your own bio, you can say whatever you want to put in your own bio. So there was a guy speaking the sync licensing and stuff like that. This guy said, "Hey, I got stuff I placed with Good Morning America, and um, I got this writer and this brief and these different things. So hey man, let's get together and let's try to get you some sync, some more, some bigger sync. Cause you can get a joint for 20,000, 40,000, 50,000. You know what I'm saying? Like one shot, like at one time, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's a whole connection network too, because they want music that somebody can't come back and say, hey, you copyright infringed my music. You know what I'm saying? They want to make sure that you're doing original music. They want to make sure that no one else could come back and say, yo, you sampled this or this, that, and other. So, it's a big trust thing, because they got to trust the producer that they working with, that, hey, that this music's going to be Gucci, and the company not going to get sued. Because then that's how people start losing their jobs and different things like that. So I'm figuring like, hey, I'm going to get in with this guy who's already got a good, footing in, according to what he said. Because I had to vet him out. I give people enough rope to hang themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if I got to do a fact check behind you, then I'm like, oh, then hey, then that's what it is. So come to find out, he had no connections. He didn't do no NBC stuff and all. Good Morning America. All of it was cap. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm on the phone with this guy. This guy got my number. We talking. I'm trying to build with this dude. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew one person that I kind of knew. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, yo, you know him? So I'm like, all right, you might be decent. So I was just trying to fill the situation out. And then I, kind of find out it was just straight cap and wasted my damn time. So yeah, you gotta be careful. But vet people out, and and also, but everybody may have a plug that you may use to make it use too. You can't count them out all the way either, because they may have a plug that so just might keep them at an arm's distance. Don't bring them all the way in your circle, but just might keep them at a little arm distance.
Facts on that, man. I definitely appreciate your time. One more question. So we had Will on, trying to bring in this whole joint full circle, and he was talking about one of the biggest attributes you can bring to social media, and one of the fastest way to success is to be you, be yourself. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about how bots is hilarious, and how bots will go in there and do these reels that just crack him up and make him feel better, but he's just being him. He talked about how, if I want to make my stuff better, talk a little more, give a little bit more of yourself. People really enjoy that. Now you just said one of the fakest things you've ever dealt with was somebody perceiving to be something they were and they weren't, and it ended up biting them on the ass. So talk about how being genuine is very important, because you are a very genuine person from what I can see too, and what I've experienced the last couple of months on Clubhouse. Talk about how being genuine is important for success, not only in your game, but in life.
Man, listen, I tell people all day, all I know how to do is be me. So if you don't know who you are, that's where the cap, and that's where being fake, and that's where you trying to create a lifestyle or a story or whatever, whatever you're trying to boast up and do, it's unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not jealous of anybody. I'm happy for people. Like, I'm genuinely happy for people when they're doing good, because that's one less person that's going to be acting up crazy in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So I want people to do well. So, you know what I mean? It could be a lot peaceful when people are doing well. A lot of times when it's crazy is because, people are not doing well. So I'm one of those people that I want to see everybody do good. I want everybody to win, because I want y'all to do that for me too. Return that same energy to me. I'm big on treating people how I want to be treated. So when I come across, when you meet me in person, I'm the same way. When you talk to me on the phone, I'm the same way. When you see me on Clubhouse, I'm the same way. I like to laugh. I like to joke. that this is who my personality has been my whole life. So I don't know how to be fake or no other kind of way, because people rock with who I am, and it's been like that, my whole life almost. So it's just like all I now Clubhouse just exposed me to more people and me and allow me to show my personality to more people. And with that, people been following me, and my platform grew crazy. Like I met so many people, and that's just off of me just speaking on Clubhouse, not kissing nobody ass, not acting like I know it all. If I don't know something, I say, man, I don't know that question. Let me ask let me ask somebody else in the room, because I like to stay humble as well. No matter how good or any accolades, I can't do without God. So I pop my collar but so much, but I know that I'm not without my man upstairs who got my back 100%. So that's what keep me grounded. That's what keep me and having people like Bots and Auntie Jackie, who also are great examples of being yourself and being real and being true and being you unapologetically.
Man, you're such a blessing, and I just want to give you your flowers. I appreciate you for being so humble, for opening that door for artists, for opening that door for brand makers, entrepreneurs, and things like that, to have a place to come share and network and feel like they have a home there, man. You were one of the creators of that. Staying authentic, staying who you are. Definitely appreciate you, man. Sincerely, Roshtein, for all you do. Now, you already know. If people want to get in contact with you, man, if they want to get beats by Rothstein, if they want to get in the studio with Rothstein, I know we got a lot of great artists in the room right now, management of some great artists in the room right now. Tell them how they can get in contact with you, and then let them know what you got going on Clubhouse and Music Networking, No Egos, and how they can get their music heard on there as well.
For sure, man. Everything is Rothstein Beats. No matter what platform it's on, I'm on almost all the platforms is Rothstein Beats, but mainly you can reach me on Instagram. I am Rothstein Beats. Hopefully my screen name up there. So just hit me on Instagram. That's the number one thing I'm on. But you can also go to my website, www.rosteinbeats.com, for more information. But then, yes, on Clubhouse, you just look me up on Clubhouse, Rothstein Beats, and then you just look for Music Networking, No Egos Club. We got so many more specialty rooms coming. We're going to be bringing back the beat battles. We had a successful beat battle where Complex Magazine was in the building. They gave two producers from our room an opportunity. So we're gonna be bringing those back. We had an R&B competition that we had, and we had a women's rap battle that we had. We're gonna be bringing back again. So yeah, man. And I got my podcast. I want to shout out my podcast, Roth Talk Podcast. That I'm gonna be on Fireside Chat, the app. So it's gonna be coming June 1st. I got my official date. I'm gonna be launching on Fireside Chat app. So download that, support me. And yeah, man, we just gonna keep grinding, man, and making these records. Got some more records getting ready to come out. So I'm excited, man. It's a lot of good things coming, and we only in April right now. So it's a lot coming for the rest of the year.
Indeed, man. I definitely appreciate you. Appreciate your time. I can't wait to link up with you in person so we can knock down a couple zips of that Zaire.
Hello, my guy.
And fellowship for real. I think I should be at the cookout in Charlotte. I was talking to Bob when he was in here, and he's going to Charlotte. And me and my partner and I, that's a good move to make. So I'll probably see you out in Charlotte.
Bro, pull up to Charlotte, my guy. Pull up to Charlotte, because that's where the comedy's gonna be. The music, man, is gonna be, so y'all can see how we work with Bots and Misfit Beat Sean. The whole crew, the cookout team, is gonna be in the building, so it's gonna be definitely the place to be is Charlotte in July, my guy.
I'll be there, man. Well, until then, I appreciate you. Rothstein Beats on Viral Hip Hop News Live. Salute, my guy. I'll see you Monday, brothers.
Appreciate you, my G. Hey, man, salute too. Man, y'all make sure y'all share this app, man. Make sure y'all support my guy, Sam. He a dope individual, dope platform. Hey, and we just gonna keep going up from here, my guy. And hello, my guy. Hello.
Yeah, you already know. Rothstein on Viral Hip Hop News. Salute, brother. Much love.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. That's it in the building. Viral Hip Hop News Live. We had two incredible human beings, incredible entrepreneurs, incredible experts at their various brands, Will the Influencer and my good brother Rothstein Beats, man. Definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all. Hey, yo, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that motherfucking notification bell. We will be doing this every Saturday evening at 7 p.m. live. I will come on, I'll talk a little shit, and I will bring somebody on to talk about what they got going on, man. But until next time, much love. Matter of fact, I got a surprise for y'all because tomorrow, not next week, but tomorrow, I'll be back on here at 7 p.m. interviewing Gita, the winner of the Peak Gameplay Lame music. I don't know what to call it a challenge, but it was like a music showcase where he won an interview with your man at Viral Hip Hop News. You can check that out tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. Until next time, until next through, you know the goddamn vibes, you know the brand, Viral Hip Hop News. Love each and every one of y'all. Appreciate y'all sticking around. Till next time, we out. Peace.